Actually, it's Tweety Pie on my pectoral muscle on the left-hand side. Yes.
He was at the cider box. He was at the cider box. He was at the cider box.
Yeah, other than just seeing dongs everywhere on chat roulette.
This toilet chat has definitely taken us out of the bubble that you mentioned before. I don't know what bubble we're in now.
Welcome to the season 1 finale of the Neutral Cider Hotel podcast. I am your host, Mr. Gabriel Cook, as I have been for the last 44 episodes. 45 including this one, 52 including all the ones that got binned because of my errors. And along with my wonderful friends, Mr. Grant Hutchison, Martin Goodwin-Sharman, and producer Scott, we've had such a wonderful time. And, you know, it's a finale, but there's going to be more to come, and we'll be talking about that later. And coming up a bit later on the show, we'll be chatting with Robby Honda of Tanuki Cider of California. We'll also be diving into the speakpipe for the final time this season to see what the listeners have for us. But first, well, the rooms have been cleaned badly. We're a bit tight. We haven't quite got the labour force to do all the rooms, but keys have been collected, hung on the hooks. Checking out book is there. What are we going to be writing, chaps? Where are we? What's going on?
Okay, well, I'll start. Let's start with. We thought would maybe it'd be a nice idea to share what we thought were our favourite moments, or moments from the previous episodes that we remember. To be bluntly honest, but. And I will never not laugh at the tomato knife incident. It will forever be one of the funniest moments that's ever happened to me on a Zoom call. And what is also funny, but the more I think about it, obviously the story and the act, but also that we sat through a whole episode where Gabe had a big bandage on his finger, and it took 3 hours for him to go, you've not asked about my finger? You're like, shit, yeah, sorry.
I was feeling a little aggrieved that my giant bandaged digit hadn't been attended to.
It could not have been a better
injury
story when and it just kept getting better and better as well. You know, initially it was like,
if the sale of tomato knives, that whether there has been a spike as a result of the popularity of said bladed instrument on Neutral Cider Hotel, whether it be for tomatoes or indeed any other vegetable, bread, meat. It really is a very, very versatile tool. And you can get them from www.jfl.com. Check it out, /tomato knife.
That's right, lads. We finally figured out how to advertise on the podcast and get some money in the finale. But the best bit about that
story... But we're selling knives. That's
alcohol and knives, what could go wrong? But the best bit about that story is how you told it, Gabe, where you teased it out, stage by stage. Every sentence was like, it felt like getting punched by waves. I was like, how is this still going? It was beautiful. That was like a magical moment of Gabery.
And and also I've got to say, when you referenced the sales of knives, you actually gifted Martin, Scott and I a tomato knife, and it's I've got to say, it's brilliant. I didn't know I needed one, and now I couldn't live without it. So
for anybody out there who is mocking or saying, tomato knife, what is a tomato knife? I don't need a tomato knife. You really do. You just don't know that you do because it's not just tomatoes it's good for. It's a really, really versatile tool suitable for all your needs.
So next season, guys, the plan is just vegetables. That's what we're doing, clearly.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
I mean, there's more people who eat vegetables than drink cider, I think. So we should see our audience grow.
What about fermented vegetables? Marrow rum. You know, we had the joy of Ryan from the Caledonian Cider Factory telling us about. Was it his mum making marrow rum, where you hole out a marrow, you pour a load of brown sugar in there, you put it in some like stockings or some tights, leave it for 6 months, then jab a hole in the bottom, and what comes out is this incredibly alcoholic liquor at the bottom. I mean, I'll take his word for it, certainly, that it was a delectable drink.
Yeah, that's never, when he said it, I liked the story of it, but I didn't think, I've got to find this. Like, that made me immediately go, I never want to see that. Never want to see anyone drink that. Because I know someone's going to, after hard seltzers are done, someone's going to come out with a tinny of marrow rum. And oh my God.
Well, Martin, you very kindly came to my housewarming party yesterday. Grant, it wasn't the Grant and Scott were unkind. Yeah, how dare you, bastard? We live 792 and 4,334 miles away. And lovely Hannah, your wife, came armed with I'm going to say more of a large courgette than a marrow. What would you say? I don't know. So
I mean, I don't know where this is going or where I'm meant to take it. Now you've batted it back to me.
I just wanted your opinion as to of the.
It's
the
a courgette.
Anyway,
it's just a large courgette.
Here's what I would say. This particular segment,
kombucha.
This particular segment exemplifies the Neutral Cider Hotel over the last year, where we have a plan. And we start down that plan, and then we are 5,000 fucking miles off that plan. Okay, I don't know what's happened.
I know. With Scott sitting there going, I need to fucking edit this, guys.
This is coming out. This is coming out. This is coming out.
Well, no, because it all roots from Grant's favourite bit. It's a favourite moment. It's a favourite moment. It's all recoverable. Don't worry.
What about you guys then? Let's hear.
Are we going to go into favourite bits? Continue, or should we go back to the beginning?
The marrow.
Why did it start? How and why did the show start?
Of course, how and why. Yeah, sorry. That's.
Yeah, Gabe. Why don't you do the how and why?
All right. So. Gosh, I think the very first time the word podcast was mentioned was probably not long after the Cider Salon 2 years ago. I think when Grant had met Martin for the first time, and I'd had the pleasure of Martin's company whilst visiting the Good Measure where Martin was bar managing, and had so enjoyed his company and his showmanship, keeping everybody enthralled and generally swearing quite liberally. It was great. A really wonderful experience. And just, you could see there were little nugget. It wouldn't be great if these things were captured and actually sort of put out on the airwaves. And it was like, wouldn't that be great? And obviously none of us got our act together until COVID-19 hit, obviously, and we found ourselves in a situation of being geographically isolated, but also from our cider community, from friends, from family, and from the pub. And that's not just all about the booze. It is about the camaraderie and the community and the companionship, all the C's. And we wanted to, Grant, it was down to you. You said, come on then, let's have a go at doing something. Come on then.
Well, you know me. You know me. That's how you get shit done, Martin.
Yeah.
Well, before that, genuinely before that, me and this guy Sam, who does podcasts, who was a regular at the pub and lived with Gabe, we discussed behind Gabe's back, because he was single at the time, that we were going to do a podcast basically putting him on Tinder dates and just get his feedback. And I was like, this man needs a weekly update. Like I need to know where he is weekly, romantically. And then he landed a lovely, lovely partner immediately. And that, I mean, to the detriment of the podcast, I believe. But
the beginning and the end of that.
The neutral Tinder hotel could have been something else entirely, wouldn't it?
Oh no.
If you could see Grant's face now, he doesn't look very happy. So, and yes, and housemate Sam, hi housemate Sam, ex-housemate Sam, he has his own podcast for, he's a Wolverhampton Wanderers fan. And so I was listening to him like doing a weekly show in his bedroom, like dialing in over the interweb and like chatting with other people elsewhere, making great content. And I was like, this is really interesting. And so when Grant said, hey, I've got a professional producer lined up in California, California, professional. Do you know? He did Questlove's podcast. Did you know that? Did you know that?
I got told it was Questlove. So I was fucking furious.
That was the only way to get you to agree to it, Martin.
Now, Martin, I know you got Questlove tattooed on your back. Massive. Is there any chance? God.
So then the introductory meeting between the four of us. I can't remember when the first.
It was the three of us first.
Was it?
We did. Yeah, it was Grant, you, and
Martin
me.
Martin was maybe originally just going to be like a sort of weekly feature thing, maybe with some tasting and stuff, because we weren't sure even if he would want to do it.
Yeah.
And then Gabe and I discussed it a little more. We were like, no, let's have another voice full time.
Little did we know that we realised that we probably weren't very funny.
I'm not sure. I think it was that.
I
think it was that.
Great. Good. You've got music sorted. I've got cider sorted. Great. How do we do funny?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, this podcast isn't laddie enough. Who do we get? We need a lad.
Just need some humour. So,
no.
And then the stars aligned, and we did a trial podcast, didn't we? We did a trial episode.
Episode 0.
Episode 0 that's never seen the light of day, heard the light
Still
of
locked in its
sound. Where we spoke to a gentleman. What's his name again? Mr. Oliver. Of
Tam
course
Oliver.
It was.
I bet the people listening would have guessed Little Pomona just on the amount of times they've been on the show. It's got
That was also, there was a reference to that Martin makes all the time called the bedroom sessions, but we've never said why that was the case. And it was because of the fact that you were laying in a bed. Recording.
I had no tables or height. I had nothing I could balance anything on. I was on a work laptop for the pub.
Very George Costanza a la Seinfeld when he's on the couch and he's like...
I was proper, the sage lounge. Also, yes. I have we've got, I don't know why, we've got really brassy orange lights in the bedroom and all the walls are pink. So I just look like a blushed kind of chubby funster.
Just in the boudoir.
Lying down drinking Perry. And you wonder why you've never heard it. There you go.
I mean, I don't know whether any of you have heard any of that since. We will have to try and dig it out at some stage.
If only we knew someone who had the keys to that room. Oh well, but to take it back to that one man, for all this self-love that we're giving, I'm going to have to give some to you, Scott. I thought this would need a glue that's strong. You are concrete adhesive binding agent 101 for just how much effort you've put in, how much work you put in on top of that, how much patience you have, and how much great direction you've had for us. So it's just been, every week the loveliest because of you. So thanks, bub.
Round of applause for producer Scott.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I think we maybe all underestimated what goes into recording a podcast. I just thought, so the podcast is an hour long, 5 minutes at the start for some chat, 5 minutes at the end. If we start at 8 o'clock, I'll be done by 9:10.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
And the edit is just put a song in the beginning, put a song at the end, and you're done. That's it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Also, thanks, Billy, for doing the music.
Thank you very much, Billy.
Yeah, cheers.
Billy from Frightened Rabbit. Great music.
Not that
Even
he
if
listens.
that second tune does sound like Titanium by what's his name?
What's his name? Sia.
His name, yeah.
David Huerta.
David Huerta.
But yeah, Scott, brilliant. Thank you so much for
suffering.
And bringing it to a level that it would not have come anywhere close to had it not been for you getting involved. So yeah, I appreciate it. And getting up drinking in the afternoon
Oh yeah, the afternoon drinking. Yeah, I'll have to dig up. Ooh, I think I could do that before the end of the show. I'll dig up that clip of me being absolutely pissed and play that. Yeah, when we talked about it originally, I think, Grant and I had originally talked about it. I was doing more podcasting stuff, and Grant and I just stayed in touch. And I think I'd said to him, hey, if you ever want to do a podcast, just let me know. And then one time he reached out and said, I think I want to do a podcast.
Yeah, called your bluff. There you go.
Surprise.
I know, you must have been like, shit.
No.
Most people don't call in that favor.
He didn't say shit until he heard what it was about. It's like, brilliant. The drummer, Frightened Rabbit, getting back into...
Yes.
What?
Indie rock.
Cider?
What? Cider? What are we talking about?
Well, Scott, what did you know about cider prior to, the show?
I mean, because I'm not a beer drinker, that's been over the last probably 7 to 10 years, a drink I try and get, if not a cocktail. I try and get a cider first because it's more enjoyable to me, but it's just harder to get. So I just a very cursory knowledge that it was fermented apple juice, not much else.
Well, that's a good start.
That you get in grocery stores. But I mean, all of the terminology and the techniques and everything I've learned over the last year has really opened my eyes in a big way to what an incredible industry it is and what a credible drink it is and how different it actually can be, the range of what it can be from the, something very still to something very carbonated, something very dry to something very sweet, all these different apple flavors and taste profiles and things. It's really something I'm much more passionate about than I ever was before.
And we can thank the Horse of Knowledge for helping you get there by explaining to you all these little trinkets and what keeving is, for example, which we did 17 times on the show.
And I still don't really know what it is.
Who's
Right
Kevin?
there with you, bud.
It's Kevin. Aren't you like selling some of Kevin's cider as well? It's just sweet cider. It's not just sweet cider, everybody. Sorry, I take it back, Horse of Knowledge.
18 times now. Yeah. It's just sweet cider.
Yeah, the horse has been a little quieter of late.
But I think that's good though, right? Because that would suggest to me that we don't require the horse.
Oh, hang on. Someone's trying to get back into the hotel. Mate, sorry.
Hang on, he's got a light on.
That's the blinding light.
Do you not see the sign on the door? What do you want?
Sorry, I'm a bit confused. I thought I'd logged on to a website to help me figure out why I'm not seeing the videos in focus. And this has come a bit of a shock to me, but it's great to be with you guys. This is this is that well-known
Neutral Cider Hotel?
Oh, yeah, Cider Podcast.
There we go.
Great. Hey, and it's the great thing about this is, for me, I've honestly, you haven't got me just on here just to blow smoke. So I have really, really enjoyed the experience of the first series of the Neutral Cider Hotel. But there's one thing missing. Because for me, I tend to listen to podcasts when I'm going to sleep at night. And so my visual representation of you all is somewhat a bit less than the reality. So honestly, it's great to see you all here. And I hadn't figured out what a handsome guy Scott is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already guessed, this is Mr. Tom Oliver coming live from Oakle to Herefordshire. And we know it's him because we can see him because he's turned his light on.
Quite a few lights by the look of it.
Yeah, you are lit up like a Christmas tree, my friend. Look at that.
The good thing is EDF have come up with a great deal for this next couple of years. So I managed to turn on the extra bulb. Things are looking up. I see Grant. I could put you in touch with him if you like.
That would probably be good.
Well, thank you for showing up just as we're closing. You didn't leave an item of clothing here or something in the hotel, did you? You're trying to reclaim, are you? Or You're here with good intent and purpose.
I think, Gabe, if I had left an item of clothing, you wouldn't be asking me if I'd left it.
That's very true.
You'd be able to tell straight away. So, yeah.
So your stocking's here with the marrow rum in it.
Oh dear.
Tom, we were just discussing about your very kind participation in episode 0, which is the one that has never seen the light of day. You're laughing already. You don't even know. I mean, what are your memories of that auspicious occasion?
Yeah, my memories of that auspicious occasion are that you probably shouldn't drink too much when you're going into something that you're not 100% sure about, or you don't even know what's coming around the corner.
Are you talking about yourself or about the rest of us?
This is relationship advice.
Well, yeah, that. But no, I think you lot need to drink more. It was just me. It was just me that I probably got a bit more carried away. But I remember enjoying it a lot, and I obviously didn't realize at the time what a fantastic thing this was going to be born because of this, episode 0 or episode hopefully never to see the light of day.
It shall remain locked, I'm
Probably
sure.
not. Yeah.
Don't worry. If we can't even charge for the content that we intended to charge for, I don't think we can give away the episode we don't want to listen to. But, dude, honestly, I mean, we've given you about 1,000 adverts, so the receipt, the bill will be in the mail. But
I know that extra light you'll be able to pay for.
Yeah, but genuinely, the Gold Rush, as an example of something that we've talked about on the show, pretty much every bottling you've done, the cider salon, it was lovely that it could start with you there. And I mean, season 1 ends with a cheeky visit from you here. So cheers for literally popping in out of the blue.
It's very kind of you to let me pop in out the blue. And I really do hope that, this is not just the end of, but the beginning of something else in terms of whatever might come. So I'm very excited by whatever there might be in the future, which you have to be, don't you, nowadays?
Tom, you're a music guy. What did you think about our music episodes? How did we hold up with our...
Yeah, in terms of the guests coming in from outside, I think it's great. To be honest, it is nothing more entertaining for somebody insider to hear people talking about things not insider. And I like that. And it just like everything, it's human interest, isn't it? And the reason the podcast works so well is it's the human interest that you bring to it that I think really makes it work well. And then just the one extra thing that can really just turn it into something really special is when you all alight on a cider. And there's a few that you've drunk, each drunk the cider, and you've each thought something about it. But then when you really get talking about it, you've obviously all enjoyed it, and then you start talking to each other and you start suggesting things, or I got a bit of this and I got a bit of that, and sometimes you've just really all gone away somewhere else talking about it, and it's really good because for me, in a way, that's what cider can do, as well as just being a great drink to have. It can take you somewhere else, and you've done that quite a few times. So that's pretty damn good, I'd say.
Well, when we've drank, like you say, it's that kind of. It's weird because in the lockdown, you're kind of by yourself, and like social media is the same, where you drink it, you write your tasting notes, whatever. But we would drink individually, and then it kind of coalesces and it becomes this one thing that goes round and round. And genuinely, the description of your cider as a salmon cream cheese bagel may be one of my favorite moments.
Thank you very much.
And once someone says it, you're like, fuck, no, that's all I asked. All right, there you go.
The breakfast cider.
Yeah.
If you will.
If you're in a slightly posh hotel, I have already apologized that no fishes were harmed in the making of that drink. Which one was that? I've already
Gold
forgotten.
Rush Raw.
Was it Gold Rush Raw? Oh,
Yeah.
number 2.
I think, was it? I don't know. Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah. Who can remember? And another thing that Scott, maybe not. This is not such a musical thing, but the mix of voices for me was really good. So you had Gabe with like the anchorman voice, which is a very sort of captures everything. It's right in the middle. It sits there. You can rely on it. Then you've got that lovely dulcet tone from north of the border, which sits down at the bottom. And then you've got that lovely hyenic cackle coming from Martin, which sits
it's contagious.
Which sits on the top, and then that beautiful bit of colour that your voice, Scott, brings in. So that's 4 really interesting, different voices. Because one of the things I struggle with is podcasts when voices are similar. You forget who's doing what. With Neutral Cider Hotel, you knew exactly who was talking at any given moment, which I think is a massive strength, So,
well, Tom, I've got to say I disagree, because I think you might be mistaken. Some of the Scottish parts were actually me, because my accent is
and the American parts as well.
Oh God!
I do. Let's take it even further. I even believe that some of the ciders you drunk were made by you. So I mean, this is great. Where do we go from here? So,
well, episode 0 was filmed entirely in my bedroom. So, guys, thank you for joining me. And yes, we won't show anyone.
Stuff.
Mr. Oliver. Well, thank you so much for popping in as we're closing up for the season.
Yes. Well, really kind of you. I just hope that you all get a chance to vacation somewhere as lovely and as comfortable and relaxing as the Neutral Cider Hotel was for all your visitors. So, where are you all going to go?
I'm off to the bus station for a kip. Yeah, it's very snuggly down there.
We're taking cider back to its roots. The bus station.
Right.
Well done, Gabe. Bus station's in Dimmock. Fucking hell.
Very nice. Mr. Oliver, thank you.
Thank you for popping in, yeah.
Thanks very much, bub.
Hang on. Oh, yeah, okay, I've got to go anyway. It's the AFI. Anyone heard of them? Artificial Flavors, Inc. I'm just about to do an online workshop titled Artificial Flavors That Can Really Make Your Cider Have Some Taste. So I've got to head off now, gents, and I'm going.
Mr. Oliver is wearing a t-shirt and apples are best drunk. We wholeheartedly agree with that. Well sailed to you, my friend. Thank you so much. Your support has always been appreciated and will continue. Cheers, Tom. Take care. Bye. Wow. There we go.
Who knew about that?
I didn't.
Is
that all you, Scott?
Jesus, Scott is a sneaky one. Sneaky little fella.
But no, genuinely having him there, I know he was early on the show and he was like our first guest that wasn't sent out. But I mean, we've talked about it a lot. He's like the forefront of it all, really. He's the loveliest guy and his ciders are just an absolute dream. So what a lovely surprise. Again, Scott, you being the glue that I just love to huff a bag of. So thank you so much.
Man, never has a kinder word been said than that.
I've never heard that before.
Are you going to put that on your LinkedIn, Scott? Is that your new... Amazing. So that was our kind of our roots, our genesis, and I don't know. Has anybody who's listened back to like the first 2 or 3 episodes recently? I haven't. I will do so over the next few weeks because I want to see and hear.
You got 7 hours for the first 2?
How stilted and awkward we possibly are.
Oh, must have been.
Hello, Grant. How are you?
Terrible.
Actually, I take that back.
Yeah,
that's not
I
true
hit
because
things with sticks for 11.
Yeah, but you see in the first episode, we didn't really know what was happening. Gabe would throw us things, and now we're like, okay, I know when Gabe's going to throw me something. Then you just did it, and I was like, oh shit! So I need to talk about myself, and I haven't really thought about how I'm going to do that. So right. Here we go. But then, yeah, like Tom said, that kind of set the tone for who I am and who I was going to be on this podcast, and same with you, Martin. I'm sure if you'd responded as dull and as uninterested as that, those voices wouldn't have worked as well together.
Well, Didn't you get caught off guard, Grant, with one episode, maybe third or fourth, where he called you a crenellated urolith?
Who could take that in their stride?
also, who expects it? You know, when someone's like again, Ed Sheeran is one I get quite a bit. Who goes, if I get called crenellated urolith one more time?
I know. Oh, that again. Fucking hell.
Did anybody shout out, "Oi, crenellated urolith"? Yeah. Just please say yes. Just
not the salon, or like just
the
ever.
salon.
Oh, just in life. In life.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of people actually ask me to sign things for them with that.
And you have to look up how to spell it every time. You're like, how the hell do I spell this?
Well, then I have to go through Neutral Cider Hotel in my head and be like, all right, there's what still 1 R left somewhere.
Oh God.
That was another one of the particularly memorable moments. We also had there were a number of, the trouble at the start was actually just trying to record an episode, because I had a few technical issues, some born by the very poor internet down in Devonshire.
That's the smallest way to explain the hours. Hours in my life that are gone. I don't know, time doesn't work like this. Once it's gone, you can't get it back. But those are hours I will never get back. They're gone.
We can, wash over it now. What's in the past? Water under the bridge. No pain. No pain.
A particular favourite being the one where we did the whole episode, which we'd known for quite some time needed to be done on Google Chrome for it to record and for Scott to be able to take the files. And then what happened? Gabe, you want to?
I think I might have accidentally recorded on Mozilla Firefox, which I know doesn't really exist anymore.
Exactly.
But
that was what was.
Gabe, you all shut up. Yeah, the dial-up's on. Yeah, £1 a minute.
I've got my dictaphone out as backup.
What's more embarrassing about this Amstram user here is that I thought you were going to say the episode where he was recording and it sounded a bit funny. And this goes to show that there are more than one, because he got about 30 minutes in and Scott went, Gabe, is your microphone pointed the wrong way? He had it backwards.
I don't know what you mean. Is that any better?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh dear.
Well,
yeah, that was a little. Oh, hang on, we've got somebody else. Who else is trying to break down the door into the hotel? It's only the Caledonian Cider Factory's Mr. Ryan Seeley. Everybody,
hey. You are not the shape I expected, Ryan. Honestly,
you were exactly the shape I expected.
Ryan, the first and most important question. Have you gone back to the fish and tackle shop to repurchase the headphones that you previously took back?
Tackle and bait. No, I kept hold of it. Because I had a sneaking suspicion I would find another use for this thing.
And have you used it?
He's taken the cobwebs off it
now, and the first time that you used it, which would have been, in October? Have you used it in the interim?
No, I haven't. But my oldest son has.
You were just banking on getting a second appearance here on the Neutral Cider Hotel, and your dreams have come true. And we thank you for joining us.
Well, Ryan,
I leapt at it. I need to get my money's worth out of this thing.
How has it been for you on social media and at the cider salon? Did anyone come up to you and refer to you as the Caledonian Cider Factory? Did anyone mention anything? Here's my ego. Do people talk about us?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I got people asking me about spiders, and I got people asking about the factory and how things are going. Because I'm CEO of the Caledonian Cider Factory now. No, it was really good. It was great. Yeah, and I think because like most of the people at the cider salon, I think they probably only knew me from the Neutral Cider Hotel anyway. So it was a great launch pad into really weird conversations with people.
And that's why you paid for the advertising on here. So thank you so much for the starter fee. Yeah, it really helped to build the hotel into what it is.
Hey, it's not my fault you didn't sort out a Patreon thing.
Yeah.
I would have been on it. But I do like how you're a bit bitter that nobody gave you any money for the Patreon that you also never bothered to set up.
Well, they should have.
We roll.
They should have paid for the thing we didn't monetize. But yeah, dude, honestly, you're another example of it. Just like when it works, because we genuinely recorded with you and it didn't fucking work, and then we re-recorded, and it's one of the funniest nights I've had drinking, like just in person or non in person. It was just. It didn't want it to end. It was like 4 hours by the end of it, where I was like, everything here is just howling. But yeah, just how was lockdown, drinking, and everything like that for you up there, and how was it then coming to see everyone in Bristol? Because we've talked about how shocked we were just seeing everyone.
It was surreal, like the whole Bristol thing for me, because like, I mean, the distillery I work at carried on running throughout, so I wasn't like stuck in my house or anything like that. But we had to work alone at the distillery. So it was like, you'd go in and just do this job and then you'd just go home again. And it was really weird. It was kind of like really isolated and stuff. And yeah, so being down in Bristol was brilliant, because it really has been such a long time since I saw anybody that wasn't related to me, or, you know, lives in my village or works in my distillery. It was amazing.
Which on the Black Isle, probably they all are related to you anyway.
All the same thing.
Shit, sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
That's another load of listeners struck off the list.
Intra-Scottish mockery.
Come on, it's the last episode. You guys have been doing it for fucking 9 months now. So.
It's not cool though, Grant, to rip on Scotland. Yeah. So let's turn it down a bit.
Specifically the Black Isle. Like, you know, we've had a rough time.
Yeah, true.
It's not a Kelpie.
How was the salon for the ciders you had? How's the reaction to what you brought down to pour for folk?
Yeah, it was really positive. It was really positive, but I think the issue was because the 3 ciders that I had like at the salon thing, they were all really long-winded descriptions of what was going on with them. So like everybody who came to my desk was just stuck there for like an hour.
I tell you what you should have done was what Mr. Oliver done. He is a clever bugger, which was that he had the same kind of, you know, issue. And so he just wrote everything down on a laminated piece of paper and said, if you want to know anything, just look down. And that was it. That was what he didn't say. It was just pouring. Yeah. Just write a novella, and then you'll be able to.
How are you meant to write about the concept of putting leaves in a drink, let alone picking specific leaves, and also the working practices in a factory that employs spiders? Like there are too many things for this man to write down a laminate.
The spiders are on the verge of an aggressive takeover. They've already got a majority stake in the shares, and it's like
they've heard about the success of last year's Cruvlan, so
this is it. And after having a little taster down in Bristol, this next iteration tasting absolutely fantastic as well. And you had some really awesome whiskey casks ciders too that have got a lot of sort of character and fun and age. What's coming next? What exciting new projects or things do you think you're going to be working on for this upcoming harvest, which is not far, right?
I know, right? And I'm not ready for it at all. Like I'm never ready for harvest to come round. Like normally, like by this time of year, I've kind of sold out and I've got like a month off to just sit down and think about what I'm going to do. But it's still all just going on this year. So yeah, I know I'm not ready for harvest at all. I could do with it being delayed by another couple of months. So
I'll come up and help you, man. I'll come up and help you.
Will you do that? Will you actually come and pick some apples? I tell you, that is a bittersweet offer, Grant, because I love the podcast. Ooh. And I would like to have the apple picking, but I love the podcast. So.
Yeah, but you can have it live in your face.
That's
and he's helping you.
Yeah. It'll just be complaining about the weather.
Yeah, well, that's it. You wouldn't have the lightness of Martin and Gabe to offset my miserable chat, so probably wouldn't be as fun. But
He's just calling you inbred for 4 hours.
I know, yeah. Like, where's the relief? Where's the comedy relief? It's just relentless. I'm genuinely depressed by all this now. It's bad enough picking apples in the winter as it is, without someone really miserable just bringing me down.
all right, fine, take it back. I'm not coming to help you.
Oh my god. Oh,
but anyway, my main point was what I wanted to come on to say was how much I've enjoyed the podcast over the last year, and how I think, we often talk about the cider bubble, and the cider bubble before Neutral Cider Hotel was really just like, letters on a screen, because it was just like tweets and Insta messages and things like that. And I think since the Neutral Cider Hotel has come on, like that bubble, for me anyway, because I live so far away from everybody else in it, that bubble has become like, okay, so they're heads, but they're also like voices, and their jokes and their stories, and they've become people. So I think that you guys have kind of, if you haven't expanded the bubble massively, you've really fleshed it out and made it into a big group of like friends, like honestly, because when I was down in Bristol, it felt like I was just in a whole room full of friends that I've like actually never even met before. It was really, really good. And I think a lot of that is down to what you guys have done with the podcast.
Well,
thanks,
you.
man.
I think we could only do it justice if there were drinks to actually get in a room and giggle over. So thank you for being a producer that's actually made a business, made a drink, and made something that we can sit around our pub table and actually chat about. So the feeling is very mutual.
Yeah. Well, and for like, I feel like setting the tone of kind of how we should approach the podcast. Your episode was very much like, this is a fucking laugh. Let's make sure that every week we have fun with whoever our guest is.
I was trying to be really professional.
I know.
And that's why your sister working at Wix comes up naturally.
I know.
I can never, ever think or look at another Wix the same ever again now.
Totally.
You're always wondering which one is Janet working in. Is she that one? Is it that one?
Does Ryan's sister work here?
I know, they should have been paying you guys as well. They got a pretty big plug out of that.
And they don't even. I bought a toilet seat from them the other week. I should have said we could have got sponsored by toilet seats.
Should have gone B&Q instead. Wix is shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, Janet.
I did struggle to put on the toilet seat. The screws weren't quite long enough for the.
It's always a way, and it's such a filthy job as well. Like if your toilet's like my toilet, which I hope it isn't, but like I've got 3 little boys in my house, and my toilet at the back end there is bad. Yeah, and me. Because, my aim isn't great.
The trick is to put cling film over the bowl whilst assembling, so that none of the nuts and bolts and things like fall into the loo. That's
See, this is exactly this content that I'm talking about for this podcast. Like, this is exactly why I love it, because I get tips on how to put a new seat on my toilet. Yeah. I talk about people pissing all over my toilet. It's all really gross and weird at the same time.
And we thank you for it.
And Grant, you're muted.
That's because he's fed up with insulting me.
Oh, look, the program appears to have auto-muted him. Ryan, did you do something to put a hoodoo?
Hello.
There he is.
Yeah, there's only a certain amount of internets in Scotland, and I think that
you guys are
both chewing it up.
I think I might have used it. I've just stolen all the bandwidth with a big purple head.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was that this toilet chat has definitely taken us out of the bubble. Yeah, that you mentioned before. I don't know.
This is what I try to do for you guys. I come on and I try and extend it out, and I'm pushing at the edges of that bubble, trying to get into the toilet people, trying to get into the DIY people,
challenging us to be different.
Jesus. Challenge accepted and failed miserably. Dude, thank you so much for the ciders and for being another person insider that we can actually tweet, message and that and just have a fucking laugh with. So genuinely, it's all love, baby.
Cheers, Ryan.
It's all love,
Cheers,
baby.
guys.
I don't know why I said that.
It's all love, baby. All right, Austin
Cheers,
Powers
you
over
guys.
here. Ryan, thank you so much for seeing us off for our season here at the Neutral Cider Hotel. We very much love and appreciate all of your support and engagement. So good luck for the harvest. You've obviously got Grant's number if you do need that little bit of help. And let us know how it goes on. But we'll see you on the other side. Cheers, man.
Cheers, guys. Looking forward to season 2.
Here he is.
Bye.
See you later, buddy. Bye.
That's genuinely another great example of one, Scott pulling it out of the bag, but just the people of cider making it. Because it could have just been us waxing lyrical tasting notes about cider weekly, really. And it isn't. It's a proper chat. And it links me nicely quickly into a bottle. Can you guys see this? No.
Not really.
Glass bottle with a white label.
It is a drawing of a guy with really long arms. So this is a pet nat from Wildling.
He's done it again. I can't even remember
genuinely not on
anymore.
purpose, everybody. That was just classic Martin.
Wildling.
You have drunk 3/4 of it.
Wildling. This is a pet nat. You gotta edit that out, Scott. This is, I do some work with Wilding. Holy shit. This is a pet nat. I'm saying it like I'm saying it from the start. This is a pet nat from Wildling. Oh no. So this is a pet nat from Wildling. And it's honestly, he just leaned into the joke that was a throwaway joke to such a point where he hasn't got a label for this. So he's just drawn him with ridiculously fucking long arms because it's something we said pissed a year ago. So
amazing.
Another one in the scene.
Send us a picture of that.
I will do. But
yeah, we'll have to post that.
Well, you could. I will. I know how to do the socials, Scott. So we actually had 2 bottles at Gabe's as well, at Gabe's little housewarming thing yesterday.
We did.
And completely different. One preferred to the other. This one, Gabe, I feel bad. This is clearly the best one.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, brilliant. And it's just so fascinating to see the evolution and assuming that it's kind of like the same fruit, same orchard, you know, the nature of the vintage, the fruit, the time, maturation. Oh, hang on.
Hello.
Speak of the devil. Who is this? Greetings. This is
Tom Kingham of Wildling Cider.
Oh, are you fucking
small producer.
Mate,
here he is.
I mean, you might be able to recognise this. What's this little number? I've just been
Did you like it?
Honestly, I said this one is the best of the bunch. It's lovely. And
fantastic.
I've never had a better cider from Wildling.
Literally just said that.
Wildling.
Yeah. It's all good, baby. But no, genuinely, it's lovely, citric, fruit forward, smashable, criminally so. And I'm trying to go slow because this is our finale. So I don't want to jump the gun and get too much here. But thank you for leaning into a joke that we drunkenly said about a year ago.
Well, it's great to be a running joke, if nothing else. That's my 15 seconds of fame, isn't it?
But dude, yeah.
And I've been working the arms since then just to try and live up to it.
Have you got them like on a rack or something like that?
Yeah, just stretching.
Yeah, not weightlifting, just like
all day. They look normal size. They're just really far away. There's a perspective thing going on.
Listeners at home, his arms are incredibly long. That's the takeaway from this whole thing. But dude, yeah, thank you so much, and genuinely thanks for sending ciders. Gabe and I cracked the other 2 yesterday at a housewarming for him. So yeah, props again for more ciders, and just another. It's proof of concept that it's more makers that we never would have even thought about or had access to in any way.
Well, I mean, it's brilliant. You guys have just brought everyone together a little bit. I mean, there was sort of, there was all the Twitter community and the Insta community, but it's nice just to sort of It's like inviting someone into your living room every Monday afternoon or Monday evening, which is always what's really nice about it. And I guess just the fact that you were just three and a half guys, four guys.
Half a guy.
Sure, it's fine. I'll take it.
Down the pub when the pubs were closed, just having a chat about it. And that was just really good. I can't believe you're leaving us.
Yeah,
if only for a short while.
It's all Gabe's idea. Gabe's the one quitting. He said he can't.
He's got his book out, hasn't
Well,
he?
he said once that's done, there's no other book, so there's no more plugs. That's the idea.
He's just going to do all his books in different languages.
There's a whole load of other dongs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's going to phone up all the presidents and the leaders of countries. You're like, I know what you need.
A Kazakhstan edition of modern British cider.
Yes, welcome to my cider. There it is. Well, look, come on, Tom. This is your moment of glory. Tell the world about Wildling Cider. Where are you based? What kind of style have you got? Come on, where can we get it? Let's turn you into the newest cider factory.
I'm based in South London, so I'm Tooting's third largest cider producer, which is a little depressing after the duck and chicken guys. And there's another fella out of another brewery. But because I'm from London, it's quite weird because I don't have a sort of... My in-laws live down in Devon and they've got a little patch of green, and I am the most impractical man on the world. Like, if you ask me to play football, I score an own goal. You know, I just can't do anything with my hands, but I've always wanted to create something.
You don't play football with your hands.
Your arms are this long.
I'm that bad.
Tell us about
Into your own goal with your hands.
It's so lovely.
Really then. But I've always wanted to make something, and so cider is something that it has this sort of sense of self and place, and it's something you can make without being practical. So I started doing it, and I joined this little club of people called Orchard Link, which is down in Devon, and I was the youngest one when I joined by about 3 decades, and I'm now not. And I entered their cider competition, and I won my dry cider in the little local show. So I thought, I know, I'll have a go.
Take that, Grandpa.
I made a few, and people buy it. And there's something just wonderful about making stuff and, you know, seeing people happy and drinking it. So I don't make much, and hopefully one day I'll make more, but that's me.
Where can we get it, actually? Because
where can you get it? Well, there's a load of pubs down in Devon take it. So there's the Nobody Inn in Doddiscombe Lee, if you're ever going there.
That sounds made up.
The Cider Bar in Newton Abbot takes it, which is a lovely pub.
Oh, nice.
And then a few other places, and then that Art and Craft Bar, which I think was my first tweet into you guys, takes the Pet Nat and the other as well. So not many places, but the empire will grow, and one day I'll take over the planet.
Art and craft is a good link. The label design, this has to be an actual label design. This long
no, that's my that one. Yes, I maybe could do that. Maybe I will. That was just something she hurriedly did. My wife, she's the artist behind all this stuff.
The master artist as well, from the look of it. Your face is identical though. She's got you spot on.
No, I see it now. That's brilliant.
And the arms all the way around the bottom. They didn't quite go. That was, I guess, a little bit of a mistake on my part.
Oh god! But yeah, dude. Yeah, like I know. All jokes aside, but here's a business decision. Lean into a joke that we made last year and make labels on it and spend money on it that I have nothing to do with.
Make a few Instagram followers as well off the back of it. So thank you very much, guys, and cheers for the support all the way through.
Absolute legend.
Our thanks is very much towards you. It's people such as yourself that have made this show an absolute pleasure to have that. To have that rapport and to have that sort of communication, to have that fun with cider at the fore of it, you know, to showcase that this is a drink that is to be enjoyed by everybody. So cheers to you, Tom. Cheers to you and your lovely long arms.
I am going to have to go off and do some press ups and arm curls and stuff because I've got to keep the look up. So thank you very much, guys.
On the ceiling.
just to keep stretching. But yeah, look, keep up the good work, and I can't wait to see you back.
Thanks, man.
Cheers. Well, look, good luck
Lovely
with the
to meet you all.
harvest.
Cheers.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Scott, out of the bag again. How deep's this bag? Only the arms of someone with such long arms. Only the arms of someone with such long arms could reach into such a long bag. This is not.
If so, not.
So it's not what? Wait, this what?
Oh yeah, dude! What a fucking.
Well, the timing was just perfect. You were talking about it.
Yeah, you queued it up. I didn't even have to do anything.
And there he emerges.
Did anyone make that link to Tom K being?
No. I thought it was going to be when it said Tom K on the screen.
You thought it was going to be the SpongeBob guy?
No, I genuinely thought after the amount of complaints he's had that was going to be someone crashing our thing that wouldn't be anything to do with it. So that then has set me up to not even question it. Whereas if it said like Tom Oliver, I'd have gone, he's what he's done here. But genuinely, I was like, there's no one else, is there? So,
well, if there's a silver lining on all the pain we went through on the last recording, then I guess that's it. Covered up an oops. Nice.
What a nice guy. What fun. What a dude. I'm rubbish at football. I'll score an own goal. I'm rubbish with my hands. If I play football, I'll score an own goal. I mean,
that was good.
Man after my own heart. So, well, obviously those kind of running jokes like that have been at the core and the staple. But if there were any other final most memorable kind of like bits or instances, who wants to chime in? Go on, Martin.
It's got to be. We've alluded to my hyena laugh a few times, and I know everyone has this. When you start recording stuff, you're so aware of your own voice, and it's so different to what I think it is, and all this. And there's an anxiety there. I've never heard me like I have been when Cider Jim said, when asked what he was looking forward to, that the cider salon was depressing and miserable. Because my laugh, it went an extra. I've not heard it go that high since. So, I mean, that moment for me, I was howling, and then listening back to it, doing the show notes, I nearly peed myself. Like, it just, oh my God, just violent. I know people have said you can swear a bit and you're being all laughy and cackly. I don't give a fuck. That was fucking hysterical.
Yeah. Well, that was especially good for me because I got to listen to it just like everyone else would because I wasn't on that episode. So like you'd kind of said, oh yeah, have you listened yet? And I was like, no, I've not yet. I'm going to listen to the van later. And then I think someone had mentioned, there's a bit that you might need to pull over. And it happens, and it just like you say, Mark, just the way he said it was like, oh, that was a really sad moment that he mentioned. And just picturing him walking around like
lonely, Mr. Lonely.
Oh, it's just excellent.
Anything you could say about the bit. I mean, like tonight is a great example of it. All the people, all the things, cider salon as well, this bastion of it and this joy. And to pick that as so sad.
It was quite sad, really.
Genius. Caught me so off guard. And yeah, I was going to say, well, Gabe, you were the one who must have warned, because I remember you said you were driving when you were listening to it.
Yeah, I think you said you had to pull over, and
well, it was either that one or it was when the speakpipes first came in, and I, in a slightly just silly off my said have a honk on the crack pipe, and that's that's the one when Martin went supersonic, and upon re-listening to it, I had to pull over on that one. That was the one for me. But just as the happy ending. Just as the happy ending to the Cider George story, upon entering the Cider, because I saw Cider George entering last year and said, oh, hello, and then he went off by himself and got very lonely. This year, he's going up the stairs and I say hello, and then behind was the lovely Gemma, Apple Per Day Cider,
Gemma.
Another fantastic Instagram blogger, and on the stairs, Gemma went, Cider George, and he went, Gemma, and they'd never met before, but by the power of Instagram and the show, they had a hug, and then they went off and had an amazing fun day drinking together and speaking to all the cider makers and just having a riotous time. So it all comes full circle, everyone.
Oh, Gabe, look at you tying it up. With that,
All comes full circle. Cheers, everybody. Well, that's a nice little roundup of some of the joyous things and funny and memorable things. The only awkward one for me was when I tried to, sweet talk Ben from Death Cab for Cutie, into like sort of trying to get on the good side by talking about the Blackberry Festival in his hometown that he had literally no knowledge of. That went down like a lead balloon, didn't it?
You had said to us before, like with Simon and Ben as well, like, look guys, obviously my music knowledge isn't that great, so I probably won't ask that many questions or talk that much. Just making you aware of that before you think that there's anything other than that is the reason. And then you broke out with that, and I was like, oh, okay. maybe you should have stuck to your original plan.
God. And Harry Potter, which he hadn't read. That was amazing. Where I was like, no. But to flip it back, I became you on the national episode where I got so caught off guard, stunned. The first thing I said was, I'm not going to talk about your band. Which isn't a great way to start an interview.
I don't like you. It was almost how it kind of read.
I didn't know. My throat was like, shut up, die. And I was like, no, I need to do this thing. But then Gabe as well, on a joyous moment, your questions, I was like, I wish I was this articulate and educated. They were gorgeous. I really loved it.
You smashed it, yeah.
It fucking wicked, man. Like you can fanboy all you want, but then when it shuts you down, you need someone who's actually done the fucking research.
Well, it was in a way because I'm not as big of a fan or knowledgeable of the national as you guys are. I suppose it sort of takes a little bit of the emotive kind of sting out of it. Again, and knowing how much Martin, you were a fan of Rainn Wilson and the American Office and that kind of thing.
Oh my God.
As well. When the tech didn't go right at the start of the interview and he was in jabbing, proddy kind of mood, there needed to be a bit of jousting kind of back, and we managed to get him back on track by taking some abuse from him. Generally, that was kind of how it rolled, and then we got him to the point where he was.
I think Martin said "fuck off" like within about 2 minutes of the interview. Rainn Wilson,
because he called us all. He called us all middle-aged.
He actually knows when I'm going to die. That's the thing.
And even I was a bit like, don't think I'm quite there yet either, man. but yeah, Martin, you went straight for it and just told him fuck off.
When you look at your life and you're like for one, I mean, Biffy Clyro was like a mad one. Yes. Simon is, yeah. I genuinely, cheers, the noise Simon. I made when he was like, when Grant, you were like, Martin's actually not really said it, but he's a big fan. And I just started screaming. Genuinely real. That's how I respond to their music. I was actually playing Infinity Land to Blair at Little Pomona when we were bottling a couple of weeks ago as well. Just fucking love it. But to be afforded these positions simply because you said to Scott Grant, I might actually have a podcast. It's just like, thank fuck the world ended, because just this apocalypse is beautiful to me, guys.
Bravo. Well, we can't end it any better than that. That's our little wrap up of our best bits and funny bits. Now we are going to move on to our interview with Robby Honda from Tanuki Cider. Now here at the Neutral Cider Hotel, it's time to bring on our final guest of season 1. This week's cider maker comes to us from across the pond, all the way from Santa Cruz, California. And it's somebody who I've had the pleasure and the opportunity not only to meet, to visit, but to stay with a fantastic, wonderful family with an orcharding heritage going back more than a century. This guy is on the front line of making awesome ciders with integrity and fun and character. Checking into the hotel today, it's Robby Honda from Tanuki Cider. Hey. Robby, thank you for being our final guest, last but not least, final guest of season 1. Thank you, my dear friend, for not only agreeing to come on the show, but shipping some fairly decent quantities of cider across the Atlantic and across your continent as well in order to get. And this is quite literally halfway around the world. And we've got it in our hand right now. In fact, what have we got here, Martin?
This one is a Gravenstein. So it's a wild ferment.
No. Come on.
No, this is
the other one.
Newtown Pippin. Okay, I thought I'd get away with not saying it, but there we go.
No, absolutely not. So
let's before you even ask that question, Gabe, which one are we drinking first? Would you rather us drink the wild ferment or the Newtown Pippin clean to start? What's the opening gambit for you here?
Oh yeah.
I'd like to start with the Grav.
It is appropriate that we start with the Gravenstein as well, because it's an apple that probably tells the story of how and why you're into cider as much as you are. Give us a little bit of a background about why is it that you make cider whilst we have a glug on this and get our heads around it.
Yeah, my mom grew up on an apple orchard in Sonoma County in Sebastopol, an old orchard that my grandmother was born and raised on, and my great grandparents lived and planted some trees about 100 years ago. I know you guys, we always say that. It's like it's 100 years or it's 110 or it's like it's never
nothing at all.
103 years ago. To this very day.
But I didn't grow up in the orchard or around agriculture at all. I grew up in the suburbs, deep in the suburbs down south in Orange County, but spent a lot of holidays, summers visiting grandma's orchard with my brother Brad and my cousins. And it was a really interesting contrast visiting the orchards compared to where I grew up. And after spending time in college, I lived in Hawaii for 7 years, which is also very different than anything that apples have to do. There's no apple trees out there. Spent some time in Japan, which is very different too. So after all of that, I kind of ran out of ideas and things to do. And I started twiddling my thumbs and thinking what was next. And my brother was a really talented designer artist. He designed our logo, our Tanuki logo, and our first 2 labels. He was into different website and graphic design projects. And I was like, why don't we work together doing something? But I had no skills. I had nothing to offer at all. And then I thought about
why don't we
orchard.
work together?
Yeah.
I have nothing. But I really want to piggyback off you.
Let's start a project, and you can design everything and we'll have a party. The whole idea was T-shirts, stickers, and music and drinking, And then I read The Omnivore's Dilemma by Michael Pollan, and it was kind of a revelation. I remembered the orchard. I got my degree in environmental studies from the University of Hawaii. So sustainability and agriculture were something I was always interested in. It wasn't practical for me I had no experience in agriculture, but I figured, let's go see what this is all about. Moved to San Francisco, and just by chance, I was in Santa Cruz visiting some friends, doing some surfing, and connected with someone that was running and owning and operated a farm with apple trees on it, and he needed some help. So I landed in Santa Cruz, and I've been here ever since. That was fall 2009. It's 2021. I was single, no kids, no nothing, no Hannah.
Well, this is where the wonderful world of cider brings us together, because out of the insanity, you were talking about the Toby Carvery there. That's the Toby Carvery on the A40 between Hynham and Gloucester, because the lovely Hannah Chatoy was in the year below me at school, and Robby and Hannah, I think you guys met in Japan. Is that right? When you were both teaching out there, so I get a message a few years ago, like 3-4 years ago, to say from somebody else at school saying, "Do you remember Hannah?" Oh yeah, year below. Yeah, okay. Like, yeah, she's married a guy who makes cider in California, and they're over in the UK. And as it happened, I wasn't in the UK at the time, alas, to meet you. But when I did then get out to California, this is when we met and we drank cider, and a really magical experience. You gave me the great pleasure of taking me up to the family orchards. And that was the first time I met sort of, Scott and Ellen from Tilted Shed as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, a really kind of magic experience. And it's a great example of like how cider can bring people together from across the planet.
Can we talk about your connection to the orchard and the fruit, and it, it sort of says on your website that you're exploring the memory of your dead ancestors while creating new stories for our kids. When did you first find that connection to whether it's orcharding or cider making or what is it that connects you to the land?
Man, that's such a good question. I think about that a lot. I had no interest in the orchard or the apples really growing up. I grew up in a completely different world in the suburbs, where agriculture was not a part of my life at all. I was into playing soccer and swimming and surfing and going to punk rock shows, and nothing was about agriculture. I think I remember the orchards when I was back on vacation from college in the summer of 2002. My parents, my brother, and I went to visit Sebastopol. I remember it was just hot and dusty, not really pleasant at that time of the year. But in the evening, it cooled off a little bit, and we walked through the orchard. And I remember realizing that I didn't know anything about the place really. My great grandparents I never met. My grandfather, who lived on the orchard and was an apple grower, I didn't meet. He passed away before I was born. My grandmother was kind of managing the orchard until she passed away in 94. But they're all pretty private people, The war had a big significant impact on my family too. World War II, when my family was relocated into the internment camps, it was something they didn't really discuss very much at all. But we were lucky. My family was lucky to have something to come home to back in Sebastopol, and that's the orchard. So after leaving home and going to college and coming back and kind of walking through the trees, I had this realization that I didn't really know much about these people that got me to where I was, and the orchard and the apples kind of symbolized a lot of it, and it was an experience I had. I didn't really know what that meant or what it was going to do. But years later, after finishing school and traveling a bit, and then kind of thinking more deeply about what I wanted to do or whatever that means, I kind of remembered the orchard again. And it was this pull. I was just like, man, this is something that we got. I can't not try to figure out if there's any way to connect back to this place and learn more about the piece of land and the fruit. That's where it started. And obviously I'm not there. I'm down in Santa Cruz, but that was a big inspiration for Tanuki. And then, my brother as well. We started this project together. He designed our logo. That was a big part of it too, like working together. And then when we lost Brad in 2016, tragically. So this is for him too. He's now not with us, but physically, but he's with us all the time. And Tanuki's a way for us to connect to my brother. And it's for our kids. Yeah. So this is what we're trying to do. Thanks for asking. Seriously, it means a lot.
Well, dude, first off, we've just tried the first cider, the Gramerstein. For me, the first thing I got was this almost like peaches and cream, like summer vibe. It's like especially from here, like it's August, height of summer. But where I am, the weather is shit. It's about 13 degrees and raining. So having a bottle of like just imported sunshine, I am just absolutely hallelujah, bud. It's so summery.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Tell us about the cider.
Yeah. So this was our first experiment. This is the 19, right?
Sorry.
18.
18.
Oh, yeah. Shoot, there we
He's
go.
like, I really sent you the old shit.
Yeah, no, this was the 18. So this was our first experiment with spontaneous and wild fermentation at CiderCon in Baltimore. Saw Gabe, Tom, the crew, and there was a panel on native and wild fermentation with Leif Sundstrom on it. And I tried one of his Ashmead's kernel, and it completely changed me. It was incredible. And what they were talking about with spontaneous and wild fermentation, I really identified with, not because I felt like anything. It was just like, it was the easiest thing for me to try to do, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Someone's
Why do I do the laziest form of cider making I can find?
No, but it makes it so like it paints such a beautiful picture, doesn't it? Where it's like, oh, no intervention. You're like, yeah, I can go on board. I can jump on that.
You know, but so anyways, this particular one, we got apples from two different orchards in the Pajaro Valley of Santa Cruz County. Two different growers, our good friend Jake and his family at 5 Mile Orchards. We got 3 bins, 1.5 ton from his family. And then there was another family just down the road that was growing red and green Gravensteins as well, the Ohana farm. And they had some old dry farmed trees as well. So we blended those at the press and let it go, and got it kicked off. Fermentation was nice and clean in the beginning, and things got to start to get a little squirrely in there, and I didn't know what was going on. So we stirred it up a little bit, let it settle, racked it off, and it's a little funky. I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, the funk is mute for us. The funk we're used to, mate, is like, you're right there. This is Gary. He lives above the Toby Carvery. This is his thing he makes in the bucket.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like genuinely, I'll let these guys speak on their thoughts. But for me, it's just this lovely, bright, like expression. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. Has a really nice kind of nuttiness on the finish as well. And that creamy butteriness lifts it beautiful.
Oh, thanks. We just got lucky.
That's everybody who makes a wild ferment cider who makes it really good always says that, but I genuinely don't believe that's the case. So you can't make a wild ferment cider that clean, that expressioned aromatically, and you know you've got that really nice sort of salinity and minerality in there. And Gravenstein's such an interesting apple from a Sonoma County point of view. You know, we talk about over here in the UK, we've got these really old orchards and things that are like 100 years plus. But as you're talked about, you know, you do have access to choose. Gravenstein was a really important apple variety for that part of the world, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, especially in Sonoma County, Sebastopol is most famous and well known for their gravs. The Gravenstein orchards and trees down where I live are less available because the main buyer and producer of apples making juice in our town, they don't open up their scales until after the Gravenstein crop. So the gravs are the first apples to drop around here, and that's like August. And then the flood of everything comes soon after that. But a lot of people took out the old grav trees and started planting other trees and apples that they could sell to this juicing company in town. So the trees that are available, they're generally older and they're sparse. So we're lucky to have access to some of these trees.
Well, you also spoke about that kind of like the idea was stickers, merch, product.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of like when you're young and you're in a band and you've got that kind of like DIY, I need to fucking make something. How was that as like the beginning step as a cider maker for you?
Yeah, that was a big part of it. Thanks for asking. That's why my brother got into, I mean, he was a talented artist intuitively, but he crafted and took his skill more seriously because he wanted to design t-shirt graphics. You know, we grew up surfing down in Orange County, and that was a big part of our culture, you know, stickers and t-shirts and all that. So he really developed those skills, you know. With our style too, the first couple years that we produced Tanuki, we only made one product. And that we sourced all these apples I referenced. We tried to get them all as close at one time, all the best varieties we could get at one time. And we did one large press. So we did like 8 ton, you know, or our first year, we did 10 bins. We did a little under 5 tons. And that was our blend for the year. We did 400 gallons that was our first Tanuki. And so that was like, obviously thinking about that project, it's like, we have to get the crop has to be okay. We have to get the fruit off of the trees. And then we hand pressed all the apples ourselves. We had to get the juice from the farm down to the winery we were working with. Fermentation had to complete all these things. Those went to bombers, you know, but then of course the labels were a really big part of it. So when we finally did release the 2014 in 15, it felt like for me symbolically, we were releasing our album, you know, because it referenced the whole thing we did that whole previous year. You know, and it was really special. And like, that's why like having the vintage or the date on it, we call it a harvest date, is really significant because you look back at this and you remember everything that happened that year. And of course, my brother, we worked on this project together. He came up for harvest. We picked apples together. He pressed them. He documented some of it and he produced those labels, you know, so those are super special, obviously to our family, you know, and we'll have those. We have a few cases. We'll have those forever or whatever. We will have those and they mean a lot. And we continue to think about that as we keep producing. You know, we're a small producer. On our best year, we'll produce like maybe 5 or 7 different ciders, but mostly it's a less than a handful that we're making. You know, so
leaning in on the packaging as well. The logo's quite stark, but also, am I the only one who thinks that he's got a package himself? Is that intended? There is a huge
payload.
I'm trying to ask this in a polite way. Did your brother intentionally draw a well hung character?
Yeah, dude.
I don't know how to ask it, but that's
Man, if you can search it yourself if you just.
I'm not going to type in hung animal.
No, just Tanuki. That's it. Tanuki, Tanuki, and then image, and then you can go from there. But it's a real animal native to Japan, but through the Japanese mythology, they are pranksters and shapeshifters, and their nutsack plays a huge role in their superpower. And it's this mythology.
Title of the episode. I think we've got it, guys.
Here we go.
Is that where the name came from? Just like this mischievous, like fucking creature that's nutsack has a huge role to play. Like what?
Oh, I mean, so in Super Mario Brothers 2, you remember the raccoon?
Yeah.
It's not a raccoon. It's a Tanuki. And in the mythology, they use their nutsack as a parachute, not their tail.
I mean, a very useful appendage to have when falling out of a plane without a parachute.
I'm sick of having this brought up. Every episode, Robby, we've had the Tanuki's nutsack brought up without fail. Tom was on about it. Everyone,
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you're the only cider maker in the world named after a mythological beast. That'll be an interesting one to see whether anybody else comes up. We can have like a cider off versus all of the mythological animals. It'd be quite interesting. I've jumped ahead of the game because I couldn't hold on any longer. I've just cracked open the Newtown Pippin.
Oh, we're cracking it.
And we're cracking it because oh my! That was 0.4 seasons.
I was going to say, let it breathe.
Is he frozen?
It's going down. No,
no,
he is. He's just drunk half a bottle.
Oh my gosh.
I tell you what, Robby. I can see the legs rolling down a glass. It says it's a 8.5, which is only an indication of its weight and intensity, but that is a drink of some serious elegance, texture, intensity. The Gravenstein is gorgeous and it's light and it's fruity and it's fun and it's playful. This is at big school. This is intense, my friend, but fantastic. We've had a few Newtown Pippins now, right?
Yeah. Well, this genuinely feels like it's not even like super. I don't know. It's closer to super West Country tannic. Like my tongue is. Coated. I don't know if that's the carbonation throwing everything, but it feels like super apple skins on the tongue, dry, like got that kind of like hedgerow kind of fruit character, like,
and that grapefruity pithiness as well. It's amazing. Tastes like a cherry bakewell or something. Love it.
Yeah. That's an awesome drink. Cheers to you, my friend. Thank you for that. That is insanely good.
And then now I've had mine open for a while because no one told me what we were doing first. But
No. Let's change that. You didn't ask which one was coming first. You just leaned in.
Do you know what? I was really excited to try a new and brilliant cider from California. So head of the game. But do you know what though? Now it's sat in the glass for a little while. It's opened up.
Yes.
Even more. You know, the fruit's coming out. Those kind of spices are coming out. That kind of almondy, cinnamony cloviness is just stunning. It's incredible.
No one's ever said that about this before. It's really nice. Thank you.
Really? Well, they're wrong and we are right. And this is our podcast and what we say goes.
Robbie's like, everyone says that. Everyone loves those old tannins turning into spices. Yeah.
But then, so, you know, like we've said, it's not maybe typically what you'd expect from a Newtown Pippin or a US cider. How is this generally gone down with people that drink your other ciders or just, you know, US drinkers in general?
I mean, thanks for asking. We're small, man. Our ciders are pretty much available in Santa Cruz County. We have a few places you can find our stuff in the Bay Area. Redfield Cider Bottle Shop in Oakland supports us a lot. And there's a handful of accounts in Monterey County, but we're pretty much a locally available and produced and available product. So our communities, our demographic, and a lot of the people in our community in Santa Cruz County are familiar with the Newtown Pippin, let's say, just because of the trees are around. So
because of this podcast,
because of Martin spreading the gospel on the Newtown. So it's a small sample size as far as like some of the stuff, you know, the references to other Newtowns grown other places and what other cider makers are doing, I think.
But even compared to what you're doing, though, you know, what other ciders you've done, you know, because even just those two that up, you know, the Gravenstein and this are
are they
different? Same
orchards? Like, is it same families? The
Newtowns are managed by the same family on a different orchard, but all in the Pajaro Valley of Santa Cruz County. So they come from really close. The Newtowns, this one was from 2020. The 19's even better. If I knew we were doing this, I would have sent the 19. But I'm happy
Robbie,
with this.
you knew exactly what we were doing, son. So don't come here and pretend you didn't know you were going to be on the podcast.
I was holding the good shit for myself. I wasn't going to send that if we didn't make it. Just kidding. So, you know, we're still figuring out our voice and our style and everything. Our apple grower, Jake, he and his family, they have a cold storage apple facility that our press is being hosted at. So in the past, and we have the option of cold storing our fruit. So if the apples are picked in September or October, we have the option of cold storing them in the refrigerator and pulling them out in November or even December and pressing those apples and making juice. And so what's interesting is with the 2020 stuff, we did obviously fresh press stuff off the tree, straight into the press and fermented that. We also experimented with cold storing some fruit for a few weeks, like up to 6 weeks, and then pulling it out and pressing. And, you know, the flavors develop, the sugars go up, you extract more juice, but the acids drop when you cold store the fruit like that. And this was our biggest swing in the acids. So the stuff you're drinking now is the initial harvest, and it's also bottle conditioned, which is why I wanted to open up too. And what you're referencing, Martin, about maybe the bubbles and stuff. But I do think this one needs to breathe. So we have another Newtown from 2020 that we packaged that was forest carbonated, and that was the later press. And you do side by side on those, and it's pretty interesting. Because they are very different, but from the same orchard, just pressed at different times and carbonated differently.
Nice. Tell us a little bit about the concept of what it's like to grow fruit within this area. We this little island on the edge of the Atlantic, we get our fair share of rain. Water is a little bit more of a challenge, and there's the concept of dry farming, and this being something that is sought after by consumers today. Tell us about what that is and how it impacts upon the end product.
this 2020 crop and this Newtown stuff is really interesting because last year, as soon as the day after we finished picking the grabs, we got this heat wave, 3 days of 100-degree plus temperatures in the valley. Ooh. And it scorched and burned 20% of the crop on the apple trees. It sunburned the fruit. Oh. So there's the fruit sunburn, and you could kind of use it that day, but not really, because then it just starts to rot. So basically a lot of the growers lost 10 to 30% of the crop from this sunburn. And then after the sunburn, we got these dry lightning storms that happened the following day. And Santa Cruz County experienced wildfires.
We just get rain. Before. We just get a bit of drizzle.
It made your question seem so mute, didn't it? You're like, so it's kind of damp here. Tell us about it. Genuinely, though, it's a great question because I'm listening to it on a roller coaster. Please carry on because it just sounds fucking mad.
Terrifying.
Yeah, our grower Jake, he has experimented with, I forget what the material you call it, but it's an organic clay material that you can spray on the trees, and it's like a chalky clay material, and it reflects the light, so it saves it from the sun because they can get torched. So he has some newer trees that he's planted in the past couple years, and he's sprayed this material on the leaves to reflect the sun to keep those babies from burning.
Dry farming as a concept in terms of not irrigating because water is such a valuable resource there. Is this something that is used as a positive kind of marketing tool almost to advocate these drinks?
It is, and it's a fine line with the Rue and Lou kind of duality thing. So a lot of the orchards that Jake and his family manage, they get irrigated, but the blocks that we use, Tanuki and his other, whoever else is buying fruit from him, his cider growers or cider makers, a lot of us don't want the trees to be watered. So he's experimenting with dry farming some of the orchard blocks. That Gravenstein orchard I mentioned earlier, that's completely dry farmed. And that's the main reason why the crop was so small this year. Generally these trees and these orchards are biannual because they're not being thinned, because they're being grown for juice either way. So they're not being hand thinned. So you can expect a swing in production, but not like what happened this year. And that's definitely due to the lack of rain that we had this winter, and it's tough for the grower because with Jake, we were trying to figure out when to pick. He's like, dude, I think we need to think about when we're going to pick this fruit. And I was like, well, I'd like to ripen a little bit more, but at the same time, they're dropping and they're going to be done. So we had to find that medium where he could recoup some of the fruit so he could get paid for it, and also having the quality that we all are desiring.
First things first, I can't decide which one's my favorite out of the two we've had tonight, simply because I got a lovely version of what I was expecting with the Gravenstein, this lovely citric bright thing. But I'm blown away by the Newtown Pippin because I was expecting a similar thing, but I've in fact been given almost Somerset kind of this blanket of spices and rich notes and those tannins opening up, and like Grant said, as it opens up in the glass, it's just this lovely welcome home. And I'm like, this has traveled all the way from the other fucking side of the planet, and it's given me this rich kind of cider apple quality. So
totally
just well done is what I was gonna say.
There's no way I would have blind tasted that and picked that out as, I've not tasted a lot of West Coast US ciders, but I would have said that was something from the southwest of England.
Yeah, 100%.
Jesus.
That's I don't know how you've done it. It's you might, maybe, did you sell your soul? Or the Robert Johnson, you're the Robert Johnson of cider.
He called upon the Tanuki to come and help out, with his special parachute.
You said it correctly finally, Gabe. Congratulations.
Yeah, Robby, I was calling it Tanuki cider. Sorry, man.
Yeah, not only was that, he was correcting me when I was calling it Tanuki.
All week he's been going, Tanuki.
Well, and also,
it's exactly. Hang on. No. It's a really English thing
to tell other people how they've done it wrong. to take over.
To put the emphasis on the second vowel, like Tanuki, but I thought so. Like
it's similar as well, Robby, to like Toby Carvery. That's how we say it in the UK.
Gabe,
That's only
you
one
not like?
syllable, you know?
Did you
Come
think
on.
that Robby was like called his cidery that because it was kind of tannic? It was like tannic-ish.
It's kind of
It was a bit tannicky. It's a bit tannic. It was a bit acidy.
But dude, hey, I wanted to ask something if you guys don't mind. I wanted to know, like, Grant specifically, but kind of everybody. Like, did you like when you play music and you wrote music or played live? Did you drink alcohol, or did you not?
I used to, and then I stopped. After, I mean, I never got really drunk. I couldn't play.
What about
drunk.
like? So that's my question is like, was there like the zone you could get in with like, I don't know, a glass of wine and a cigarette, or was it like a 5? I don't know, like to loosen you up and.
Well, that's it though. I used to play. I used to have maybe let's say like a couple of bottles of 4 or 5% cider before we went on to loosen myself up, and then would drink throughout the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was we used to do this thing. We started this thing called Health Tour on tour when we started touring a lot more. It was like, right, we need to fucking look after ourselves a bit. So
did you have that conversation?
What?
Like genuinely?
We had a contract written up
really
between us all. 5 items that were contraband. You weren't allowed to. You had to. You you signed up for it yourself. Wasn't
and
that
Newtown
everyone
was
had to
number
do
2.
it. But yeah, and then if you were really fucking bold, you would say, right, booze is one of my items, and you could have it on a day off, but you couldn't have it on a show day. And I did it, and then I found that when I played, I was like, oh fuck, I don't need to loosen up. I'm in a clearer, more focused zone here, and then I'll have a drink afterwards, and that'll be fine. And I would I'd do my best to catch up, but it wasn't until I didn't do it that I was like, oh fuck, I don't actually need to do it. What about you? Did you? So you've got this history in music that you talked about. Did you play?
No. I would just go and get drunk and enjoy. But no.
Right. Okay.
But no, I was, my question is kind of like, cause I don't know, just, how this is bringing us together, just drinking some cider and having a chat.
Yeah.
But it's obviously so much more than that. That's why I have a harder time like talking about things that I do or what's happening in my town or like who I like. I don't know. It's more like symbolic and metaphorical. I really enjoy just, these types of moments, and it's interesting how something like cider can do that. And also sometimes after you have a little bit, you can loosen up a little bit and be more free and feel like you can share a little bit more, and things might be chaotic and
what I've kind of grown to love even more about cider since sort of becoming involved in it professionally, or just getting more into speaking to makers and people who are involved in it is this marriage of science and creativity that I find really interesting with makers, because I'm not someone that would start making cider, and same same with music. I was a drummer in the band, so I was a sort of
the main part,
no, not the main part.
Keeps
the exact
the
opposite
beat,
of that,
baby.
But in terms of creativity, you're like what happened was I would work to a song that was written and created by someone else, but then drums as a concept, it's timing, it's rigid, it's structured. So you've got this sort of science and creativity. And that marriage of the two is something that I always had to work very hard to bring together. And I'd see the same in cider making as well, where it's like there's something that there's a scientific process happening, fermentation, but also there's a touch and an intuition and a creativity that sets you apart from Tilted Shed and Santa Cruz Cider Company and East Coast Makers and everyone else. And it's that creativity that really brings it to life. And I think that's maybe why I've gravitated towards cider, so yeah, I don't know how this turned into an interview with me, but
because Robby's really good at it, but also
He's really good.
Robby,
I wanted to know.
with
It's
us,
so interesting.
With us in the UK, I grew up in Cornwall, and Gabe grew up in Dimmock, which he's never mentioned before, but it's a small hamlet.
It's very close to Maysmore, which is where
Yeah.
Robby's wife
doesn't
is
help.
from, so.
But the
Me at
idea of drinking growing up, it's that medicinal property as well. Like you drink when you're a teenager, and cider is a gateway for a lot of people. But it's that kind of like drinking to get drunk. And I mean, we're here tonight drinking 8% ciders, and it's lovely to have this medicinal quality of booze and this convenient thing. But really, what we've all come to is a drink that we love the flavor of. And that's secondary. And I think a lot of people genuinely, conventionally see it the other way around. They're like, drink is to be drunk and get drunk. But I mean, makers like yourself that actually put care and passion into it, it's received on this end of just a lovely drink that we can drink and have a convenient time. And really, we can wax lyrical over, but we could also put a few back and we could hear more stories of being very drunk.
so put it in smaller cans, basically.
Yes.
I go the opposite. Bombers.
Bomber. I know bombers is a new term to me. Like I like it.
I think that's kind of like 660 mil, which I do remember Robby drinking. Whether it was Got Lucky or there was a brand like that, wasn't there? That was in 660 mil. So it was a
Well, Zozo that you
type.
brought out to Japan was in a
Zozo. That's
was a
right.
bomber. So
You are a slightly travelled man, Gabe. You've gone everywhere.
That was an exchange of cider in the Gloucester Asda car park with Robby's brother-in-law just before because there was a bit of random cider for yours, but you must have brought over that I then took over to Japan, in September 2018 and shared with some amazing makers out there. Again, just another amazing example of how the cider community goes transcontinental, and the language and the appreciation and the fun it transfers through. And I think it's something magic and there's something special to cider. And Robby, you are a fine cider maker, as these two ciders will attest.
Oh, dude, yes.
And you're an awesome human being, and your beautiful wife, and your ridiculously beautiful children as well, Mika and Koji as well. Koji's going to be like a dancer for Madonna one day. Like, he is pulling shapes left, right, and center. Insane.
I showed that to Jay earlier. Videos of him dancing. I was like, oh yeah, I've got Robby from Tanuki on. Look at how gorgeous his son is.
Oh,
and she was like, oh my god,
yeah, it's disgusting.
I believe it's pronounced Tanuki.
Yeah,
it's Tanuki,
right,
isn't it?
All right.
As a British person, given the
On that note, I'll get defensive, but on that note, I'll say, Robby, thank you so much for joining us here as our final guest at season 1 of the Neutral Cider Hotel. What a fantastic way to round off.
Couldn't be finer.
We
not be
thoroughly enjoyed our chat with you, and these sensational ciders, both absolutely amazing. So thank you, my friend. Really appreciate the time.
Superb, man.
Take it easy. Very hope to see you sometime in the future, whether it be a CiderCon in Richmond or the next time that you're in the UK. Come to the Cider Salon next year, my friend. You will be made most welcome.
Thank you.
And now, here at the Neutral Cider Hotel, it's time to crack open the speak pipe and see what our listeners have called in with on our last episode of this season 1. Scott, what say the good listeners of the Neutral Cider Hotel?
Well, look, we've got quite a bit to get through, actually.
fuck off. I thought you were going to say there's none.
No, we got quite a few. So I'll just start playing them. There's some feedback, some thank yous, some questions. It's all a big mix. So
you could have done a bit better. That kind of feedback.
Yeah, actually, there's a specific complaint we'll get to as well.
Oh, excellent.
There's a complaint in there as well. So
Brill, Will.
So let's just start going through these. Here we go. First one is from Rachel.
Hello, this is this is Rachel of Ciderologist fame. You might have heard of me, I don't know. I just wanted to say congratulations on the final episode of season 1. What a fucking huge achievement. It's been such a joy to listen to over the last however many, and it's just been my favorite podcast, and it's something that I think I'm going to keep coming back to time and time again. So I just want to say thank you to you all for keeping me company in this really weird last year and a half. It's been really nice. Yeah. So I hope you do something to celebrate yourselves later, because you should. And I just wanted to ask a question, which is who was your favourite guest on the show, and why was it me? I look forward to
Yes. Bravo, Rachel. Well, question answered then, Rachel.
Yeah.
Done, dusted.
I mean, I've got to say that's really great to hear that Rachel enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely.
She said she did. I think we've always felt like we were missing a female voice on the podcast for, as a kind of lead host, and we tried our best to be diverse and bring as many voices to it as we could, and we've all enjoyed Rachel's J'adore la Planque mailing list, and especially one about cows. Really
I spent 25 quid on that episode. Actually, I sent in some cash to her that was from Daisy the cow, simply because and it's a difference of format. I feel it sounds silly. I chat to her all the time, actually, in memes and shit like that, but quite nervous because her writing on wine and then in Biram, it's just so fucking lovely. It's weird that, again, it sounds silly, but with Biffy music and all that shit, it's the exact same nervousness of approaching someone in a field you respect, like alcohol, where you're oh my God, you're you?
I thought you meant in a field.
In a field,
field, and just
you're so
God,
Dimmick.
Can I talk to you? Oh God.
Well, here's the thing, but I believe she'll be helping out with Little Pomona over harvest, so I will approach her in a field and say, "Oh my God, I'm your biggest fan."
But I think it's another example of how I feel like we've, not just us, but a few people have brought cider folk and cider industry together over this past year in the pandemic, a year and a half. And Biram Collective is one of those organizations and collectives that's just come out of this and gone, here, this is what we need to do, and let's do it, and let's do it together.
Absolutely.
And Rachel and Helen and Ben have been instrumental in that. And so important, and reading the articles that they've all written, and the people they've spoken to, the way they've engaged, everyone has been amazing, and feel privileged to be thought of up in the same category as them at all.
Yeah,
And let's be clear, we support Rachel. We actually bought a URL for her,
Well,
so she didn't have to give that MailChimp.
Scott, you're being very polite to the pod, but
Yeah, you're being very
producer
polite,
Scott actually helped out with the social. So Scott, well done again.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yeah, she hasn't used it yet, so I need to know that Rachel is going to use that, please.
Is there a way that we can get to that?
if you want to contact our favorite guest, it's Rachel, and it is http://www.now. I
don't remember.
I genuinely, I don't remember, and that's why we bought the fucking URL. But I can't compound how much I appreciate and Birim as a whole. Yeah. So I just want to say that like no guest is our favorite, but you for pointing out that question, you're our favorite. So
cheers, Rachel. Much love.
All right. Another previous guest who is also a bit of a fan of the show.
Hey, this is Gidon with Original Sin Cider. Firstly, I want to say that I've listened to every episode of the Neutral Cider Hotel and found them to be highly educational and entertaining. I know a lot of people in the U.S. cider industry who feel the same way. So we're all hoping for a season 2. Secondly, I want to thank you guys for covering my Newtown Pippin Cider. If you make it to CiderCon Richmond in 2022, it'll be a lot of fun, and I'll make sure to bring down plenty of Newtown Pippin apples from my orchard for you to sample. Cheers.
Gidon, you lovely human being.
Like, what a sweetheart. What an absolute sweetheart.
Thank you, your Newtown Pippin, and hey, bring Banjo Pete to Richmond. That's all I can say. Bring him.
Like, I
bring
remember
the Peruvian winemaker. Bring them all. Let's have a big love-in.
I remember drinking Original Sin when we first toured the US. And it was the only cider that was available in the northeast of the US in 330ml bottles. And it's like, no, I remember that cider that you could only get in New York. And then fucking got to meet him all these years later, and he's a fucking beautiful guy, and he makes amazing cider that Martin will never get over.
I genuinely, it makes, there's this kind of like perfect kind of trifecta of it where you're just like, someone's wonderful, the thing they bring is amazing, and the situation is right. And for him, he almost has the soul of a puppy. Like, he's just so vibrant and just like so up for it. And genuinely, Gidon, we've not had anyone where we were like, this guy fucking wants to be here. And that genuinely is so nice when you're asking someone a question. It's not silly, but when you're asking someone a question, you're like,
I mean, not even Scott wants to be here.
Yeah, Scott's like
he's just
5 hours.
Got some weird sense of obligation to be here. But
Gidon was like, Can I ask this? And then he was like, go ahead, go on. No, do this.
I'm getting.
And on top of that, if Gidon had done that and brought okay cider, it'd have been fine. Now, what's even better is his Newtown Pippin was this clean cut expression that just, as a UK cider drinker, I've not had anything like that. And I've had some American cider, I've had all the fucking regions really, but his take on it was just fucking astounding. And I'll remember that for every day I drink cider. So thank you, Gidon, for giving us that.
We love you, Gidon.
Cheers to you,
So
Gidon.
Rachel, to answer your question, Gidon.
Okay. Moving on. Next one comes from listener Mike.
Hi folks, Mike here. Wanted to hop on the SpeakPipe again to pretty much echo Gemma's comments from before. You've created something great and fun here that's definitely been really valuable and entertaining to tune into, despite being regularly pigeonholed and berated as Pineapple Mike for just trying to bring some positivity to the Hawks chat, but that's by the by. We'll all be sad to see you go, even if it is just temporarily, fingers crossed, but wish you all the best with all your various ventures. Wassail.
Pineapple Mike.
Lovely Mike. Pineapple Mike. Yeah. Come on, you'll always be Pineapple Mike to us.
He's a person.
Tom Yum Mike. If he moved to the US, he'd be Tom Yum Mike.
Tom Yum Mike.
Here's another person who Gabe can attest to this because he's going to feel caught off guard here with this. But when we met Ryan from the Caledonian Cider Factory, we all described him as not being the shape or the person we thought he was. We're like, you're talking shit. Yeah.
No.
Pineapple Mike looked nothing like I thought he was.
No.
Like, genuinely, he was like, oh, it's me,
I
Mike.
agree.
I was like, you're talking shit, mate. I was looking at him like, you are not you.
Well-
I've seen pictures of you. You ain't you.
I didn't fucking meet Pineapple Mike.
He was at the
I did meet
sign
him.
box.
But
He was
but
at
you
the
probably
sign
did.
box.
You just didn't know.
Well, he maybe didn't.
All right,
Was
Elmo.
he?
Oh,
Oh, sign box. Well, let's not talk about that. But someone called Michael did come to the to our stand, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been listening to the podcast. And I really like it." So I was like,
That's him.
it wasn't him because I asked like,
Oh.
what, are you on social media? And he was like, yeah. Like, oh, what's your name? Michael B something, whatever. And I was
That's
like,
him.
okay, so you're not Pineapple
That's
Mike.
him.
No, it's not.
It is him.
His name is Michael Begg.
Well, why didn't he? Eh? Is it?
His name's Michael Begg.
Do you know what it's like
Yes.
meeting one of the members of Frightened Rabbits?
But why didn't he say, yeah, but why wouldn't he be like, oh, I'm Pineapple Mike?
Because he doesn't want to be Pineapple
Or like,
Mike.
I'm
He's
like,
given
it's
them
me.
this
No,
moniker.
I'm the
like,
guy
he
from
would-
Wilding.
No, but no, it wasn't him because he looked totally confused. He was like, as
Did
to
he have
why
a
I
white
was.
shirt?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But he was. But when I asked him his social media handle, he was like, "Why are you asking me that? If it was Pineapple Mike, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm Pineapple Mike."
But
Pineapple Mike
that's
wasn't
also-
his social media.
No, I know it wasn't.
No.
But he fucking would say that. And he,
Grant,
maybe
I've
I
got
just
to
met
side-
Pineapple Mike, and
I've got to say, it may be Pineapple Mike isn't comfortable being Pineapple Mike.
no, exactly. It was just like
Pineapple
we
upside
christened
down
him.
Mike. You're like, this is an extension of why the podcast is so great, because we kind of like bully the industry in a weird direction that makes no sense and then expect it to respond.
He's actually known, his actual, what he's got, more
Are you
than one
doxing
Instagram
him?
handle, but certainly the cider related one is Mike Drinks Cider.
Well, he had Mike
but
Mike
then,
Drinks
but then the title
beer.
is then Milkshake
Yeah.
Mike. So
And what's his food one?
Mike Eats London.
And his
No,
Mike
it
Eats
wasn't,
London.
it wasn't
is like
him. It
double
was.
thousand.
It definitely wasn't him because he looked totally confused and he was like, "Why are you asking me that?"
What are you
Like-
asking me out?
Do you know what? I'll tell you what. If you're listening, Pineapple Mike, message us because I'll put it back on socials as a thing. Go, yes, I met Grant. He was very rude.
guy. No.
Or if you were the other guy called Mike
Yes.
with the surname beginning with B, who had a white shirt, who has heard of the podcast, but happens not to be the individual that ticks all of the other criteria,
I'm so
also get in
sorry.
touch to help us.
I'm sorry to
solve
all Mikes.
this conundrum.
I can't believe you're this rude to people you don't actually know. in real life, Grant. This is I can't imagine.
All right, we'll save everybody the pain by asking producer Scott, who's next?
A fan favorite calling in. So here you go.
Hi guys, Turtlinger here. I just wanted to thank you for the amazing time I've had listening to the Neutral Cider Hotel. The cider scene in the Netherlands is still very small, and listening to your podcast made me feel like part of a global cider community.
Oh,
It has become a part of my weekly routine, driving home from the cidery on Mondays and listening to you. The long way home will feel even longer now season 1 is ending, but I'm very much looking forward to the next season. Keep up the good work, stay positive and stay funny. Cheers to you on behalf of Elega Cidery in the Netherlands. And Mr. Cook, I've just received my copy of Ciderology, so I will fill the void with your book. Too bad it isn't an audiobook. Cheers guys, what's up?
too bad it isn't an audio book. Well, Turdlinger, you don't have to linger longer because Gabe Gook is cooking up an audio book.
Sorry, Gabe Gook. An audio Gook. What the fuck?
Wow, Martin, that was good. Toyin Derlinger, thank you very much for leaving us that message. We're so glad that on your side of the channel that you're feeling part of this global cider community. It's greatly appreciated, and maybe if there's enough demand for ciderology, or indeed modern British
Or El
cider,
Mondo del Cidro.
or El Mondo del Cidro,
No, but
in an audiobook format.
could you do?
Maybe it'll be coming soon.
Where's Turdlinger? Is in Netherlands? Can we
In
do
the
a Dutch
Netherlands.
version? Dutch version.
Yeah, my Dutch isn't very good. Alsjeblieft en dankjewel is about as far as it extends.
What does that mean?
And what does that mean?
Buy my book, Ciderology.
It means please and thank you. And that's it. And producer Scott, next up, who we got?
Another previous guest and fan of the show.
This is my message for Martin and Grant. Martin, I just thought I'd let you know that I've had a word with Brewdog and the Saviours of Cider sign is on its way to you now. And you put it above your mantelpiece, mate, and it'll look absolutely gorgeous and obviously remind you of me when you're sitting there stroking your cat in front of your warm fire. And Grant, mate, keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting the fight. It's amazing. You made the step into cider and you're doing an awesome job. And I hope that life carries on well and the shop goes from strength to strength. Thanks for having me on the hotel. I think it was an awesome idea and executed brilliantly. Keep going, move it on, make something else, make it bigger, make it better. Keep doing what you're doing for cider, guys. Peace out. Sly from Hawks.
Honestly, the fact that he's called himself Cy from Hawks is interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting and possibly in contravention of his agreement.
Yeah.
I'm not quite entirely sure there.
All jokes aside, the Saviours of Cider, he said it intentionally to be a bit like a fucking in your face. And it got in. The problem is when you get in the face of the small cider scene, it's like there's 3 people, and me and my wife were 2 of them who were like, "Oh, this isn't right at all." I honestly, if they have it, I would love that sign. I would love that. But also, if this isn't true, you know what? I don't give a shit. None of this is matter. None of this is matter.
None of this is matter. Well, it is actually matter because that's what the universe is made of, Martin.
I know.
But maybe the nature of the matter is less so.
I think Simon's a fucking brilliant person.
That was a fucking great episode as well.
Done a lot for cider. Like, and and I actually was quite, I don't know, I was sort of ready for a fight that night. No, but you know what I mean? Like,
we're tooled up.
No, I remember when you were like that with Eden as well. You were going to knock her out, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you dare say that. But he's very abrasive and he's very up front and in your face. And if it was kind of like, and you've said it yourself, Martin, Saviour of Cider. What the fuck are you talking about? And I was so pleasantly surprised by Simon's honesty and him just saying, "Well, what the fuck? No one else was going to do it. You know what? If he hadn't done it, what else would have happened?"
Yeah.
And Hawks has brought cider to a lot more people and will continue to do so through Brewdog. And whether you agree with that or not, he's done a fucking thing that lots of people haven't done and haven't managed to do, and in my opinion, that's great for cider.
But correct me if I'm wrong. That lit a bit of a fire under your ass as well. Anyway, that you were messaging, like you say, you were a bit not. There was not an antagonistic element really, but after it, you were like, he should fucking lead something. Like that should be the fucking thing, surely.
Well, now from the point of him selling his company to Brewdog, is he just going to step away from cider? And that's not what he said that day on that podcast. He said, "I'm going to set up basically an independent cider makers association." He said he was going to launch it at Cider Salon. Hasn't happened.
Shots fired. Here we go.
The Donda of like releases. Also,
I don't care what he thinks. Yeah. He doesn't care what I say either. But like,
he doesn't care what Gabe says. He didn't even get included.
He has a great opportunity with the people that he knows and the place that he is in now to be able to set up something for independent cider makers. And we discussed this with Robby. where there's nothing here in the UK for independent cider makers the same as there is in the US, and that's a joke. You know, it's not going to grow unless someone takes that mantle on and says, okay, I will represent you when we're going up against Magners, Bulmers, Strongbow, all these massive cider makers. The people aren't going to get anywhere.
Gabe, what are you saying? You've leaned in.
No, I completely agree. I think that there is a void that needs to be filled with a voice for smaller makers within the UK. I kind of think that it is going to happen sooner rather than later. There is some legislative and, dare I say, some tax issues that need to be addressed first of all. There is a review of tax happening.
No, but you say first
Martin's
of all,
quit. He's walking away. Yeah, I did have to mention tax.
You say that it needs to be addressed first of all. What do you mean first of all?
Grant, what I mean, Grant, no. What I mean is that there is an alcohol duty review happening right now, the results of which are going to be published this autumn. So that needs to happen. We need to understand what the state of play is going to be. What does the future look like? And as a result of that, then the industry can coalesce around what the primary arguments are going to be.
No.
Right, guys, this is season 2 chat.
Okay,
honestly.
Okay. So Grant, we can continue this after
the Christmas special tax.
We still got a bunch more. So this is a previous guest who recently got engaged.
Hello, boys. This is Taz, girl with a cider review. Just leaving a quick message because I heard that you are having a special episode. So I just wanted to leave you a message saying thank you so much for everything that you have done for me and letting me speak about No Apologies on your podcast. It was actually the first one that I've ever been on in my life, so I was so honored that it was yours. And I got to speak with 3 incredibly humorous and fun people who made me feel super comfortable and who continue to support me in my cider journey. I'm so thrilled that this podcast exists. It's something that I listen to often, learn lots all the time, have a good laugh. But I'm so happy to know the 3 of you, and congratulations on this special episode. Cheers.
Cheers to you, Taz. Thank you so much. You've been a fantastic inspiration for us. You just got engaged, which is very exciting. In an orchard.
Congratulations.
In an orchard, no less.
I know.
Romantic.
Guys, honestly.
Brennan.
Round of applause.
That is just...
Brennan really smashed that.
Yes. And with the No Apologies campaign, it was our privilege to get you. It sprang up, and we had a different guest lined up for the show for that week, but we immediately changed tack that we wanted to have you because it happened. It was fresh. We wanted to give you a platform to react and to put this forward as such an important issue. And you came on, and I didn't think we knew at the time that was your first sort of podcast interview. You were awesome. So big props to you. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. Thank you very much.
It's an important conversation that I think will continue to happen in cider. And it's coming from a point of where cider makers and cider sellers, cider merchants, whatever you want to call them, are aware of what's happened and gone before in the beer world or in the drinks industry. And cider has an opportunity to not follow that path, and I think Taz, you're one of those people that's really like making a point of that and bringing it to people's attention, and it's so vital that you keep doing that.
Well, it was just it was just a lovely time hanging out with you and having a drink, and the fact that we could do that and actually say something important. And it was a case as, again, it's 3 guys on a podcast produced by another guy. So having a woman on talk about an actual serious issue, but with the heart and gusto, you didn't have to come on. And like we said, you could have just gone, you know what, I'm going to internalize this because it's not a comfortable thing. But to have the fucking gusto to go, you know what? I'm going to make cider a better place. It just all the love in the world for you, Taz. Thank you so much for coming on.
And congratulations.
Yeah, fucking yes.
Woo woo. So now, tempering all that happiness, let's get the complaint that we have filed on us.
Here we go.
Tom Oliver.
Here we go.
Well, this is a complaint message from Angry
Oh, for fuck, mate. Start it again.
Foxwhelp everywhere.
You want me to start it again? All right, we'll start it again. Here you go.
I need time to like laugh over the start of it.
Okay.
Go.
Here we go.
Okay.
Well, this is a complaint message from Angry of Ashton.
Here she is.
I have to say, Foxwhelpians everywhere are very sad and very angry that you refuse to release the content that you have about the most wonderful apple grown anywhere in the world. You have no taste at all. And if you don't like it, and we know for a fact that that material exists, we demand to hear it. By the way, happy last episode. Bye.
Ooh, that sounded a little cutting at the end, didn't it?
No, well, Kat, honestly, I think I can speak for the guys here, and obviously we have content put aside for it, but if there does come a season 2, the Ashmead's kernel will be one of the featured apples that will be in the season. So you can expect us to release the Ashmead's kernel content. Genuinely, like, we're so happy.
It is a great apple variety.
We don't have anything against Ashmead's kernel, Kath. I don't know why you're messaging us saying that.
I mean, the acid's balanced, and it isn't an intrinsically awful apple.
It's
strawberry on the nose.
It's a russet. It's a russeted apple variety. It's got these incredible aromatics, and you know what? It's a Gloucestershire apple variety, and I'm very passionate about my Gloucestershire apple varieties. So it's something that we're not trying to play down. We will give the wonderful, the enigmatic Ashmead's kernel the airtime when season 2 comes around.
All right.
Well, there we go. Moving on. Nothing else to say, really, I don't think. So, Scott, what's next?
All right. So next caller is
keep it moving.
Previous guest.
Come on, Scott.
That is also a fan of the show.
Hello. I have no idea if this is going to work. I've tried to do this so many times now. But it's me, Helen Smith.
Helen.
Here they are.
I just wanted to send you a little message and say thank you so much for making such an enjoyable podcast to listen to. It's been such a joy. Even if you have incorrect opinions about Foxwhelp and my cat, Spaghetti, gets up and leaves the room every time she hears Gabe's voice. Which I don't quite understand. It's really weird. My suspicions were confirmed when I did the Pomelier course. She is not a fan. However, I loved Neutral Cider Hotel, and it's been so nice to have a drinks podcast to listen to that isn't just so very dry. Especially when I spent all that time in Manchester during lockdown at the start of this year. The 4 of your friendly voices kept my spirits high every Monday morning as I would fall into my office at 8 a.m. So much apple love and a kiss on both cheeks to each of you. Bye-bye.
Helen.
Oh, do you know, like...
There's a love in the heart and that is beaten.
There is.
That was, Birim Collective have done, I think, more for cider and drinking and anything than we have over the past year. I think they've
It's not a competition, Grant.
I'm excited about what they're doing.
I know.
I'm excited about what they're doing. I'm excited about where they're the people that read their articles are going, and it's. I'm proud of the fact that we had Helen and Rachel on the show, and had a conversation with them about how how inclusive the cider community is. You know, I think it's exciting that we're in that position. You know,
important conversations to be had, and you know, here at the Neutral Cider Hotel, we were involved in the conversation, which is the most important thing to be had.
Definitely.
So.
Okay, only a couple more left here. This one is, I would say, what's that?
I said, fucking hell, Scott.
You're welcome. A couple left here. This is a fan favorite and just adorable people. So here you go.
Fan favorite.
Hello, Gabe, Grant, Martin, and Scott. It's Susanna and James at Little Pomona here, and Blair in the skies on the way to Canada.
Hi guys, it's tap saff weather here in Herefordshire today. So we thought we'd put down our copy of Ciderology.
Yeah.
And utilise the old crack pipe to leave you an au revoir message.
We just wanted to say what a fantastic hotel you've been running. We loved our stays with you. Thank you. But more importantly, what an amazing lineup of guests you've had through those doors. Entertaining and informative, the best sorts of guests for sure. And there's been so much fun and laughter along the way. The hotel bar has, of course, been splendid.
Oh, yeah.
We can't wait for your next season, Martin's next mind-bending quiz, and the calming tones of Scott. And in the meantime, we're going to be cracking on with Harvest.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Have they been on the show yet?
We should get them for the 15th time. That would be brilliant. James and Susanna, lovely human beings. Thank you so much for taking the time to deliver the message, and for Blair on his way to Canada. Bon voyage, my friend. We look forward to seeing you back sometime soon. And Martin, you're going to be seeing a bit of these guys, hopefully, right?
Yeah, so missing our Quebecois guest, Blair, but Quebecois. But yeah.
Quebecoidian, I think, might be the term.
But yeah, no, I'm going to be helping out over Harvest with Little Pomona, which I'm pumped for. But also, it's a case of like ignoring all that shit. They're just lovely guys making lovely drinks, and I mean, Grant sells them non-stop. Can't keep them in the shelves.
I am struggling with that message. Like they're just so important to me. They personally and professionally, and my journey in cider has just a few people that really, 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 really are important, and they are one of them. And yeah, it's lovely to hear them contribute to this.
They are absolutely
good people,
the sweetest people.
And we only have the finest of people as guests here at the Neutral Cider. None of the riffraff. That's why they get to come back on more than one occasion. Scott, I believe that there might be one more left. Is this true?
That is true. This is from Andrew, listener, never been on the show before.
Hi guys, Andrew from the Austrian Cider Company here. Just wanted to say a quick thank you for all of the awesome cider content that you've been producing over the past year. And I've been reflecting really on what's made the podcast what it is. And I think it's your chemistry as a team. And it reminded me really of a group of people, of friends from the 100 Acre Woods. Gabe, you're clearly Owl with your wise and all-knowing power over the cider world. Martin, you're Tigger with your boundless energy and your infectious laughter. Grant, you're Eeyore with your dour Scottish wit. And that leaves Scott as Christopher Robin, the person who pulls all three of you back to some form of hope when the podcast has derailed and we're talking about someone's daughter shitting in the bath. A final note to say that the Impartial Cider Hostel podcast will be starting soon and available on all good streaming platforms with your host, Andrew from the Austrian Cider Company.
Comedy don't get finer than that, does it?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm crying.
I mean, it's a bit annoying because he's like a bit too good, really, isn't he? That's like he really could have his own podcast. Andrew, I mean, I think you're unnervingly accurate.
The wonderful thing about Martins is Martins a wonderful thing.
Yes.
Say something depressing, Grant.
This shit means something to people, and I don't know why.
We've lost Grant into the love zone.
Honestly, it
just like, great.
It just
this is it.
It's true. Like it means something. It means something to people, and I just can't figure it out. And it's fucking brilliant.
Oh wow,
Andrew. I've only had the opportunity to like have a chat with Andrew once via Instagram before. He's an awesome guy, great fun, great cider maker. Is a big advocate for inclusivity causes within Australia. Part of his new brand of Perry product. Some of the proceeds go towards charities helping people to come out and to support them. So just a great egg and with a great sense of humor and quite a high level of succinct accuracy. Another succinct person, Martin. There you go. You see, you're in the succinct.
Annoyingly
club.
Succinct. Also, I feel he should have got in touch with the Periologist for that.
Wow.
I forgot about that. That was funny, right? That was a funny thing that I said.
I forgot about that, Martin. You are great, aren't you? Make loads of little jokes, do you, man?
But Grant, you're right. You know what an amazing selection of messages that have been left to us. There's been a lot of love for the Neutral Cider Hotel, which is not something that we expected. I think I can speak on behalf of all of us, and was never the initial intention. It was really something as a catharsis for us and for connectivity, and the fact that we've managed to bring people together who kind of get our sense of humor, which was never really a given and still isn't.
Well, I still don't get yours, but that's fine.
Well, that's true.
That Martin guy, he's fucking hilarious.
Here, Martin trying to be me. Fuck you.
Was that me? Did I do that? What's happening? Oh, God.
Oh, dear. So we thank every one of you for leaving those speak pipes, and for anybody who has ever listened, who has liked, who has followed, who has subscribed, who has mentioned this in conversation or anything. We thank you so much for being part of this amazing journey and an amazing experience over the course of the last 9 months. And this is a really, really exciting time for cider, not just in the UK, but in the USA, across Europe and all over the world. And we're just a tiny, tiny little part of it. But we've had so much fun. And, you know, this is the beginning rather than the end. Whatever comes next is whatever comes next, and whatever guys for any and or all of us. You know, it's all built on the foundation of this amazing hotel that we've had the keys to. But yeah, it's time to lock the door, gentlemen. So,
well, genuinely, this whole podcast for me, like Gabe said, was cathartic. It was like a way of chatting. So, and it's an open invitation right now that if anyone's struggling through times or just genuinely wants a quick chat, we'll be on the socials of Neutral Cider Hotel on Instagram and Neutral Cider Pod on Twitter. But also just feel free to message me. No shame, no pride, no nothing. Cider's hit. It's a plot twist. It's the whole time. But genuinely, I want you to know that just send me a message. Like there's nothing wrong with feeling a bit alone at the time. This whole thing has taught me that like we're all together in this, and you know what? I'm here for you. We're all here for you. Just send us a fucking message if you need it, bud.
Nice.
Cheers, man. And producer Scott.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, there were no words after that.
Oh, you brought it full circle where you throw it to someone when they're not expecting it.
I didn't tell me what he
just go, why are you saying anything?
Hey, just Scott wanted to say something really monumental after Martin's just poured his heart out.
Yeah,
go. Yeah, bang. Yeah, that was it.
Oh, we got one more caller. No, I'm just kidding.
Sunset Beach.
It's from Cider Mike.
Cider Jim. I would say that a lot of people probably are curious about what the future is. We've left it fairly open and ambiguous in terms of what's going to happen. And that just happens to be from the fact that if we're being honest here about why we changed to seasons, it's because as we've all mentioned, we started this during lockdown where, time was a bit of a luxury for us when we started. And it was something that it was an outlet. It was a way for us to come together. It was a way for us to help the cider community and do something fun. And I think now, with the world opening up, that is becoming more challenging. Obviously, even since we started the podcast, Grant's child has gotten older and probably needs a little more attention than being a small baby.
Thank fuck she's gotten older.
If she'd have gotten younger, I'd been pissed off.
If she hadn't aged, it would have been a weird time.
It would have been really weird.
I fucking get a really strange time. Benjamin Button there, see?
I mean, I'm not sure if she's old enough, but she's old.
But also, you opened a shop up since we started this, so you added another level of work on your plate.
Added lots of things onto a plate, but also, I don't know. I think we all kind of got,
yes. I'm not putting this on you. I mean, obviously,
I feel like you are.
Like you, but
Gabe has a new book coming out. He's going to be busy with that.
Yeah, but he's finished his fucking book. He's done.
Well, now he's got to go do tour and he's got to do the audiobook and
it doesn't. I don't think it's on anyone, but it's just it's time to kind of
reevaluate.
For it to have a break,
yes.
Like have a little break and see where we are.
Yes, exactly.
And I, listening to all the callers and the crack pipes tonight, it's been incredible. It's been amazing, and people are interested and want to hear more from us for some reason. So I'm sure we'll get together again and have a chat in a pub. Yeah. And maybe record it, but for now it's it's the end of season 1.
For me, the podcast has been a genuine lifeline, and it's been a case of normality. It's been a case of fucking let's have some ciders, and there's a construct, there's a reason to get together, but that is simply to masquerade for the fact that I think all of us, the whole of the UK and the whole of the world, just felt like just to see the cogs moving was fine. And the fact that we could do our bit in cider and drink cider was just this fucking miracle. So I'm genuinely just thankful that we could just all drink together and that this American producer could come on in and clean this shit up with what I'm not even kidding, about 20 hours a week work.
I know Quincy Jones is a great producer, isn't he? He was absolutely fantastic. We were really lucky. Yes. Really lucky. What can I say?
Man, we've had a fucking great year.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of a podcast.
Absolutely.
It's been 100%. Fun. And I know Martin, you're like, I can't believe we got to speak to Biffy and all these people. But that was an opportunity for me to speak to those people again as well. And to reconnect with the music part of me that I thought maybe I had switched off completely. And that was brilliant. And I got super anxious about every time before we did a music episode because I was like, oh fuck, well this is my thing. I need to do this and that. But every time I left afterwards, I was like, oh, fuck, it was fine. Because we're all just the fucking same people. You know.
Did that ever feel performative, or like you're saying, did that feel like, I was just anxious because it's like now to me a different world?
Yeah, it never felt performative. I always worried about whether I would have to do that. But I'd actually written it down. Was like that. I'm so glad that you guys kind of pushed me to speak to those people and book those people to be on the show, because otherwise I would have just ignored it and been like, no, because that was
then
not so much like who I used to be or who I was, but it was like, I don't, you know, it's weird. It's weird to be like asking for favors and shit. But I'm so glad that people that we got on, and I do feel like if we've all four of us have made this like difference, and even in a small cider community, where you've opened it up to a lot of more people. That's cool. That's cool.
All right. So before we go, boy, there's been memories all throughout the season, but I wanted to leave you with one specific one, and it centers around me. I'm pulling a Gabe and focus on me, but it was a night that we had a really good time. And I specifically, which I usually don't do, had a very good time. So I thought I'd share this with you. I'll tell you guys everything if you want, because I am pissed beyond belief. 2 750 ml bottles at 9 or 10%. I'll fucking tell you whatever you want to know.
Loose lip sink ship, Scott. Jesus. I'll tell you anything. I'll suck anything that's going. I don't care.
I mean, we never got the information.
You didn't ask. You had a chance.
What should we have asked? Okay, let's do this now.
Why did you go from Questlove to the Neutral Cider Hotel?
Find out why in season 2 of the Neutral Cider Hotel.
Fuck you.
There we go. Well, that seems a pretty good place to wrap things up, everybody. There we go. Mega thanks to Robby Honda from Tanuki Cider for a fantastic conversation. What an amazing guy. What a fantastic conversation. And if you get the chance, fantastic ciders too. This is the last episode of Season 1. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening, supporting, sharing, and being part of our conversation, this community, and just a fantastic experience that we've had over the last 9 months or so. We'll keep all of Season 1 up for you to listen to whenever you want to. We'll also keep our SpeakPipe open, so feel free to leave us a message whenever you'd like at speakpipe.com/Neutral Cider Hotel. We will be listening for your messages. So that's it for now until, well, who knows? But please take care of yourselves. Stay safe through all of the COVID variants and all the challenges that are coming up. Be adventurous when ordering your next cider. And of course, wassail! Oh, and don't forget, Modern British Cider is out on September the 6th.
Fucking ding dong.
And you can also, Ciderology is obviously still available. And, in the show notes, there will be the website for the to buy in the UK, the US. There's also, of course, Il Mondo del Sidro available as well for our Italian friends.
And you can shop at Able if you're in the East Nook of Fife.
And thanks to our guest tonight, you can fuck off.
It doesn't have a noise.
Everybody,
we should have made him a
so
noise.
This show has meant more to us than you could believe, and we're massively appreciative. So thank you so much. For now, wassail.